Hey guys, welcome to Green Bean Fiction. So in today's video we are gonna see, what if Deku Reborn is Technoblade and fell for Momo? This story is Izuku, the Blade, midoriya by Crescent Moon 69. Before starting, make sure to hit that like button, as your one like motivates me to bring more stories, and subscribe the channel if you are new so you won't miss our latest videos. Izuku had woken up to a new and fresh day. He felt like today was perfect. Too good to be true, like something was going to happen. He brushed it off, thinking it was just another nightmare. He couldn't think of the past, only the future. He had worked hard to get here, from being diagnosed quirkless to inheriting the #1 hero, All Might's quirk. All of this hard work had paid off. Now he was a second year at the most prestigious school in Japan, Ua Academy, and had a beautiful girlfriend, Ochako Uraraka. Life was good. Today, his teacher, Shota Aizawa aka Eraserhead, had told the class that they were going somewhere today for hero training. So, in order to not be late and to see his girlfriend earlier, he decided to get out of bed early and do his morning exercise. His morning consisted of wake up, exercise, shower, make breakfast, go to school. He walked out of his dorm room and started his jog. About 30 minutes later, he looked at his watch and checked the time. Izuku. 7 a.m., I still have time. He went to his room to get a shower and freshen up, and after doing all of this he walked into the common room. There, he made some pancakes, plenty of batter just in case other students woke up and wanted some. Apparently, his cooking is to die for. 2 minutes later, another student turned up. It was the rich girl of class 2A, Momo Yaoyorozu. She still looked tired, so he decided to wake her up a bit. Izuku. Hey, Yao Momo. Momo was startled. She was expecting to be the first one up, seeing that the class normally didn't get up for another hour or so. She turned to see the class cinnamon roll cutie preparing breakfast and waving at her. She didn't want anyone to know, but she may have a little crush on the broccoli boy, but after Uraraka's confession during the summer holidays, she had pushed those feelings deep down. She just blushed and waved back. Momo. Ah, good morning midoriya. I didn't think that you'd be awake so early. Izuku. Well, Aizawa-sensei said we're going somewhere today for heroics training and I didn't want to be late. Momo. Oh yeah, I remember that. By the way, what are you making? It smells heavenly. Izuku. I'm making pancakes. I decided to make more just in case someone else decided to wake up, so do you want some? Momo just nods rapidly. Izuku chuckles and pats her head. Izuku. Alright, calm down and I'll make some more. She blushed and sits down at the table. After all of the food is eaten, the students walk to the class, only to be presented with Aizawa locking the door. Aizawa. Go get changed into your hero costumes, we're doing rescue training at the USJ today. Kaminari. Universal Studios Joppa. Aizawa. Quirk activated. I've heard that joke too many times, shut it. The class shut up and walked to the changing rooms with their cases in hand. After getting changed, the class walked to the entrance to find a bus and Aizawa. Aizawa. Alright, get in before I leave you here. They oblige and enter the bus randomly, much to Lita's displeasure. When they are all settled and set off, the class start to discuss topics like quirks, All Might, heroes, All Might, what might happen on the training, oh, and did I mention All Might? After they had arrived, Izuku really needed the toilet. He had lots of water after his jog and the bus didn't have any toilets. Izuku. Sir, can I go to the toilet please? Aizawa. Sure problem child, just be quick about it. He thanks the teacher and walks away from the class. After closing the door, he gets a pain in his neck. He looks to see what seems to be a blow dart. He pulls it out and starts getting drowsy. He slowly looks around to see who the perpetrator was and sees the silhouette of a girl with two messy buns and in a high school uniform, holding a knife and syringe. Izuku. Toga. What, Toga? Hahaha. I wanna see your blood is, you, who? She then jabs the syringe in his thigh, bringing him to one knee as she sucks out some blood. Izuku then realized something. Izuku. There's going to be an attack today, I isn't there. Toga. Of course Izu-kun. And you're going to be the one orchestrating it. Well, for the heroes actually, us villains already have planned for these past months and created this perfect plan. Everything starts going dark. Izuku. Damn, not now. He falls unconscious while Toga drinks some of his blood, turning her into Izuku. Back with the class, a portal opens down at the bottom of the facility. Kirishima was the first to notice. Kirishima. Whoa, you even have fake villains too, how manly. Aizawa looked down towards where the redhead was looking and his eyes widened. Aizawa. They're not fake, they're real. Stand back. All the students were on edge, but what happened next really shook them. They heard a voice they all knew too well. Izuku, Toga, it seems that you're surrounded, no. Aizawa. Midoriya, what are you doing down there? Get back here with the class. Izuku, Toga, yes, you see. I'm actually with them no can do. All of the heroes were in shock. The class cinnamon roll, a betrayer. Bakugo. Deku, what do you mean? Izuku, Toga, you see Bakugo, as my childhood friend you should know that as I was quirkless, I grew a dislike for the ones who call themselves heroes. Kirishima. Dude, you're scaring me, that's not manly. Kaminari. Yeah, man. Momo. Izuku, this isn't you. Izuku, Toga, but it is. It's my new style, and a few more toys to take you out and kill All Might. He clicks his fingers and a Nomu walked out of the portal. Izuku, Toga, ha 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 ha. The portal then opened underneath the students and separated them. The same happens as the anime, but Sue and Mineta find a way over. Izuku had just woken up to see the toilet floor. Izuku. Damn it, where am I? The toilet. Wait, Toga, the USJ. He runs out of the room and kicks the door down in time to see All Might punch the Nomu out of the USJ and now smoking. Izuku. Oh, crap. What happened? He walked up to his classmates who were still patching themselves up. Izuku. Hey guys, what happened? The class turn quickly and some even get into battle stances. Mina. Don't you talk to us, traitor. Izuku. Traitor. Izuku. Traitor. What do you mean? Ochako. We saw what you did, traitor. Izuku looked, shocked at his girlfriend. He starts to cry. Izuku. Ochako. What do why you mean? Don't you believe me? Ochako. No, I was right to stop loving you, Lita is 100% better. At this moment, Izuku's world stopped. His heart broke and his breath hitched. Izuku. Voice cracking. What do yo mean? Please don't. Be what I think it is. Ochako. Of course I mean that. He is my new boyfriend after all. Izuku's tears stop and he looks at Lita with an empty stare. Izuku. Is this true, Lita? Lita. Scoff, of course it is. Who'd want to be in a relationship with someone who nearly kills themselves every other day? Ochako nods and walks towards Lita. She wraps her arms around his neck and he holds her waist. Gives him a kiss on the lips, which he returns. Lita looks at Izuku's heartbroken face and laughs. Lita. You didn't actually think she liked you, did you? The class, as angry as they were for Izuku for betraying them, looked at him with pity. Izuku fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. But the weird thing was that he wasn't making a noise, as if he was mute. Lita. All right, that's enough, Ochako. Heroes, he's over here. 5 heroes hear his call. These were All Might, Eraserhead, Nezu, Midnight and Endeavor. As the heroes arrive, they see a broken Izuku, crying on the floor. Aizawa. Something's not right here. Nezu. Izuku, Midoriya, what do you have to say for yourself? Izuku looked at them with broken eyes as he croaked out an answer. Izuku. It wasn't me. Endeavor. Then who was it, brat? There are many witnesses of the stunt you just pulled. All Might shook his head. It seems like I chose wrong, young Midoriya. The hulking man slowly walked over to him. Izuku looked up at him in fear and desperation. Izuku. All Might, and not you too. I'll be taking back what's mine, traitor. He plucked a hair from Izuku's head and ate it. The boy could feel one for all's power seep out of him, leaving only an ember of its once intimidating presence. Izuku was devastated. The power that he was deemed worthy for, trained for, nearly died for gone in a quick moment. If it wasn't for the fact that he still had his mother, he would have ended his life there. Izuku remembered something that he realized long ago. Not all men are created equal. Some thrive in the glory and fame, whilst some flicker and die in the darkness. This is unfair, the world is unfair. His normal shy and cheerful exterior, now replaced with a cold and emotionless Izuku. Sharp, so what now? Tartarus. The class was shocked, the Class 1A cinnamon roll had now turned cold and mad. It was a total 180 of his usual behavior. Nezu. Shocked, well Mr. Midoriya, you shall be sent to Tartarus and await there for your execution. Izuku, although he did expect something of the sort, was still depressed. Izuku. Can I speak for a bit then please, if this going to be our last meeting together? Endeavor. Absolutely no. Eraser. Shut it, the kid's gonna die, at least let him say a few lines. Izuku. Thank you sensei. Eraser nods. Eraser. Just make it quick problem child. Izuku. Alright, to everyone, who here thinks that I'm innocent. 4 people put their hands up, they are Eraserhead, Bakugo, Momo and Kirishima. Everyone was surprised that Bakugo had put his hand up but decided not to speak up. Izuku. Alright, thank you guys. Now, I have an announcement to make. The class listen in anticipation. Izuku. The only thing that works in this world, is they treat others as they treat you. The class nod. Izuku looks at the 4. Izuku. Those who have treated me with kindness, I will repay that kindness tenfold. The 4 nod. Izuku's face takes on an angry look. Izuku. And those, that treat me with injustice. He calms himself, and stares at the crowd. He looks at Ochako. Izuku. That use me. He looks at Lita. Izuku. That hunt me down, that hurt my friends. He chuckles and smiles sadistically. Izuku. I shall repay that injustice 1,000 times over. Everyone got chills down their spines. This wasn't the Izuku they knew. Heck, did they even know the real Izuku? They will never know. Said boy looks fiercely at Nezu, who has a calm face but you could see the fear in his eyes. Izuku. Let's get this over with. He holds his hands out and All Might put quirk suppression cuffs on. He chuckled. Not gonna do anything to him, he doesn't have a quirk anymore. As they walk towards the police car, Izuku starts a conversation with All Might. Izuku. So, Yagi, who's gonna get it now? All Might flinched at the time that his past pupil used, the boy had lost all respect for him and it shows. Maybe young Bakugo, or Todoroki. Izuku. Bakugo's ego will get in the way with things and potentially ruin a mission, he has little to no self-control and fights impulsively. He never works with people and goes solo. Bad choice. Todoroki on the other hand, is a bit better but still not good enough. He may have warmed up to everyone and started making friends, but he has weak control of his flames, making it a weak spot for villains to exploit. Bad choice. All Might was shocked. Such analysis from one person from a single sentence on his part. He was getting tired of his know-it-all attitude and wanted to put him down a notch. Oh yeah. Then who do you think would be a better holder? Izuku. I have 3 possible options, planned for if I die or it is taken from me. The first one is Mirio Tagata, 3rd year and leader of the Big 3 at UA. He has great control over his quirk and has used it in unconventional ways that even I didn't think of. His battle prowess must be great if he, with a deemed useless quirk, can become of the strongest in the Big 3, imagine what he could do with one for all. Izuku. My second option is Hitoshi Shinso, a boy in general ed with a brainwashing quirk. He had been bullied all of his life, like me, for having a so-called villainous quirk. And if he still wants to become a hero, then that just shows his heroic heart. Although he is a worthy candidate, he needs to work on his body as it is still weak. Izuku. Finally, my last option is Eijiro Kirishima. He is in Class 1A, like me, and has a hardening quirk. Although he may look exploitable, under all of that manliness and muscle is a warm heart. And if nurtured correctly, he can easily be the next #1 hero, he just needs support and trust. He said that last work with so much venom, that All Might recoiled a bit. Although the boy used to be cheery and nice, he was now monotone and cold. They had really broken the boy. All Might. Midoriya, Izuku. Shut it #1, I don't want to hear you fucking voice ever again. He shoves himself out of the man's grasp and sits in the car. The policeman closed the door and got in the front, with Nezu in the passenger side. As they drove off, All Might was still in shock. Young Midoriya just swore. In the police car, there is an awkward silence. Although Izuku was quite comfortable, Nezu was nervously fiddling with his hands. Pause. Anyway, the rodent looked back at Izuku and asked him a simple question. Nezu. Why? Izuku. Why what? Nezu. Why did you betray us? You had so much potential. Izuku. Sigh, I've answered that already, I didn't. You're supposed to be the greatest mind on the planet, figure it out. Nezu. That's it, I'm the smartest being on Earth and I can't even think of a single reason why. My mind says that you are the traitor, but every cell of my body screams the opposite, I don't know what you are. Izuku. You'll figure it out, Nezu. Just remember though, you're on my neutral list at the moment, don't lose my trust. The police car stops and Izuku exits it with a neutral face. He walks up to the prison gates and faces the guards. The guards are surprised that someone so young is here, and he's with the principal of UA, he must have done something serious. They look at Nezu and speak politely. Guard 1. Greetings Principal Nezu. Do you wish to speak with the warden? Nezu. Yes please. Can you be quick as well, it's an urgent matter. Guard 2. Of course sir. The guard runs off and leaves Nezu, Izuku and the other guard. The other guard wants to start a conversation. Guard 1. So how old are you kid? Izuku. 15, I'm 16 in a few months. The guard was surprised. A kid at his age, going into prison. And with the monotone voice, it sounds like there has been some damage to his emotional well-being. After a few more minutes of small talk, the guard came back, but this time with a woman who looked like she was in her mid-40s. She had long black hair and piercing gray eyes, complemented by her hourglass figure and pale skin. All in all, she was very beautiful. The woman looked Izuku up and down then looked at Nezu. Warden. Is this the kid you mentioned Nezu? He doesn't look like a villain, he's a teen. He has a lot of life left in him, does he really have to die? The guards look at her in shock. Die? Just who is this kid? Nezu. I assure you Yusuyaki, all the evidence points this way. As much as I hate to say it, he's a criminal and he needs to be brought to justice. Yusuyaki. Sigh, okay then Nezu, you can leave now. Nezu. Okay, thank you for taking him off my hands. The chimera walked away and got back into the car. As they drove away, Yusuyaki looked at Izuku. Yusuyaki. Alright, as you know, I'm the leader of this place. My name is Hanito Yusuyaki, but you can just call me boss. We have one rule here at Tartarus, don't mess with the boss, you hear me? Izuku keeps his blank face and nods. Yusuyaki. Good, now, I don't care what you animals do to each other, as long as you don't mess with me or my men, we'll be fine. Now, I want you to tell me your name, age, quirk, and reason for being here. Izuku nods again. Izuku. My name is Izuku Midoriya, I am 15, I am quirkless and I was framed for being the UA traitor. Yusuyaki was stunned. Quirkless. How did he end up here? And his voice, this kid needs help. But, it's too late, he's gonna die in a month. Yusuyaki. Okay. Beiju will show you to your cell, you have a cellmate in there as well but don't worry, he won't hurt you. Izuku. Got it boss. He follows one of the guards to his cell. It was the size of a small room and had a bunk bed, mirror, desk, sink and a table with a pack of cards. He looked at his cellmate and is surprised to see who it is. Izuku. Hey, good to see you again. The figure looks up and his eyes almost leave his head. Stain. What is a true hero doing here? Beiju. You two know each other. Izuku. Yeah, I was one of the people that kicked his ass. Both of the adults were shocked. Beiju because a kid arrested the hero killer and Stain because the kid swore. Beiju. Alright, just go in kid. Izuku walked in and sat on one of the bunks and sat down on it. He laid down with his hands behind his head and looked at the ceiling. Stain. So, kid, what happened? Izuku. Meh, I was framed. Stain. Surprised, framed, how? Izuku then went on to explain all that had happened from this morning to now. Stain. She did what? After all you did for her, she fucked a four-eyed prick. Izuku. Yeah, fucked up isn't it? Stain. Yeah, also want to know what else is fucked up. Izuku. Shoot, Stain. Your attitude. You were a cinnamon roll last year, what happened? Izuku. I saw the truth of the world, like you, but I didn't go insane. No offense. Stain. Meh, none taken. Anyways, how long you gonna be my cellmate? Izuku. A month, then I have my execution. Stain. Izuku. What? Stain. Stain. How can you say that so calmly? Izuku. With so much happening in so little time, I've just sorta accepted it already. I can't change it. Stain. Sigh. Alright kid, what you gonna do in your final days? Izuku. I dunno, probably exercise and bnha. What's that? He pointed to a corner where there was a leather book with a symbol of a pig's head on it. Stain. What do ya mean kid? It's just a wall. Izuku. Really, 'cause it's very real for me. The boy jumps off his top bunk and walks over to the side of the room. As he picks the book, he hears whispers, many saying, exiled, or, traitor. He opens the book and all of the voices stop. Izuku looks around the room and sees Stain looking at him like a crazy person. Izuku. What, Stain? Gee, the book just appeared. I thought your quirk was stockpiling. Izuku. Chuckles, oh, you have no idea. As Izuku was going to start reading, a different guard banged on his cell bars. Guard. Hey, lights out. Izuku. Stain. Got it, yeah. After everyone had gone to bed, Izuku opened up the book and what he read was what he was looking for. Izuku. What's a totem of undying? As he was going to turn the page, he sliced his finger on the paper. Izuku. Shit, that hurt. He clenched his fist, keeping pressure on the cut. But what he didn't know was that a drop of his blood had already fallen on the page, making the green on the totem glow. The boy got lightheaded and he heard a voice. It's a kid. Hope he's not an orphan. Izuku. What? Who's there? You'll know soon enough kid. After the voice left, his head started to ache. Izuku. Damn, who the hell was that? Maybe it'll be in the back of the book. He turns to the end of the book and immediately closes it, blushing furiously. Izuku. Why the hell would I want to know how to sex, and why are there 3 of them? He shrugs it off and places the book under his pillow. He draped his sheet over himself and fell asleep almost instantly. When Izuku woke up, he immediately checked under his pillow to find the book. He sighed in relief when he felt the leather binding. The boy jumped off his bed and walked towards the cell door. The guard walked up to the bars and hit his baton on the bar. The ringing reverberated through his skull, giving him a headache. The guard opened the door and pulled Izuku out. He threw him on the floor and kicked him in the stomach. Izuku spat out blood and spit. Guard. I don't care if you're a kid, you're getting treated the same way everyone else does. Izuku. Groan, it's going to be a long month. And so it was. The days seemed to drone on and the inmates only seemed to get more aggressive. The beatings that they dealt were more severe than Katsuki's when they were kids, and when he had bandaged his wounds, the guards were worse. He was treated like he was a monster or an animal, 2 meals a day, severe beatings, read the book, sleep. That's all he needed to do at the moment. Speaking of the book, he had learned the language that it was inscribed in and was shocked to find it was a mix of Latin and Spanish. The title of it was The Art of Technoblade, and what it contained was all of his life findings and inventions. The one that intrigued him the most was the Totem of Undying. It was a device that could stop a person from dying. It was a small humanoid figurine that was made up of mostly squares. There had been instructions on how to make one, mostly just glass and clay, but one of the most essential components is a human soul. Izuku wasn't a murderer, he was a teenager for God's sake, he couldn't kill someone for something he didn't know if it would even work. Stain had offered to be the sacrifice, but Izuku knew that he couldn't kill him. Stain was the only one that treated him right in this hellhole, most had threatened to kill him at least 4 times. The boy had learned to ignore them and get on with his day. One day he was chilling in his room, doing his daily exercise, which consisted of 50 push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, 300 kilograms bench press and 30-minute shadow boxing, when he had a guard visit his cell. Guard. Oi, Green, you've got a letter. He hands the letter over and Izuku tears it open. As he read it, Izuku's face turns pale, then to pure unbridled rage. Stain looks at the kid concerned. Stain. Whoa, kid. Calm down, what happened? The boy looks at him with tears in his eyes and hands him the letter. Stain reads it and his eyes turn red. Dear Izuku Midoriya, you know my family secret and that cannot go unpunished. You ever wonder why you never got any news about your father? Because I sent a highly trained assassin to kill him. But seen as though that didn't hurt you enough, it would seem that more emotional dismay must be achieved. On the day of your execution your mother shall be waiting. Tell her that I say hi. With hate. Endeavor. After Stain reads the letter, the amount of bloodlust that is being released is enormous. But, it is nothing compared to the massacre that Izuku could commit right now. It would seem as though his final emotional thread has now snapped and he had become insane. His eyes no longer had that radiant purity or the hope that he had after being betrayed, he now had a crazed look in his eyes. The amount of bloodlust they had collectively released had alerted the warden and she was now outside the cell. Yusayaki. What is going on here? You're not going to start something, are you? She may not look it, but the warden was actually scared of the boy now. At first, he didn't seem like much, but now, he looked like an experienced psychopath. Izuku continued. I stare at the wall, but Stain looked at her and spoke in an eerily calm voice. Stain. His final thread just snapped. Just read the letter. He hands her the letter and she reads it. After she looked at the boy in sympathy. He's only a kid and he has had to go through so much. Yusayaki. Kid, listen, you need to calm down. Izuku. Move it, Yusayaki. Excuse me, Izuku. She was the only thing that gave me hope. Now that she's gone, I have nothing. Just please do the execution now. I don't care how, let the inmates decide for all I care. Just please, let me die. He looked at the warden with such a broken expression that she felt her heart squeeze. Yusayaki. Okay kid, we'll do it in an hour. Izuku. Quietly, thank you. As the warden leaves, Stain holds the boy's shoulders. Stain. Are you sure about this kid? You could still get out of here. Izuku. No, not anymore. I'm fine with this. Stain. Sigh. Okay, just I hope you get to see her again. He smiles warmly, which Izuku weakly mirrors. Time skip. It had been around an hour and Izuku had been lightly pulled out of his bunk. It seemed like the inmates had heard his story and looked at him with pity or sympathy. Even some of the meaner ones looked at him with a sad look. He didn't pay much attention as he just walked out to the yard. Izuku. So, how's it going to go? Yusayaki. We told them the contents of the letter after they voted, so you have been deemed with the execution of crushing, an anvil will be dropped on you, hopefully killing you instantly. Izuku. Thank you, let's get it over with. She nods and gestures for him to step into a cage. He complies and waits for his death. He hears Yusayaki tell the executioner to go and he hears chains rattling. He closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. After a few seconds, it arrives. A sharp pain, then nothing. A blank white space. He looks around and sees a figure walk up to him. Ah, damn it, I spoke too soon, you're an orphan now. As he got closer, Izuku could faintly see his pink hair and crown on his head. Izuku. Who are you, sir? And where am I? Am I dead? My name you should already know as you've been reading my biography, and yes, you are dead. Izuku. You're Technoblade. The figure comes into full view. Izuku can now see his full body. The man was 6 feet 3, had short pink hair, long pointed ears and had a small golden crown on his head. He was wearing a white shirt, trousers and a red robe. All of this was accompanied with a pig skull with 2 small tusks protruding through its cheekbones. Techno. You got it. Now you're not gonna like this kid. But you've gotta go back. You have unfinished business. Izuku. What do you mean? I've got nothing. My mom died. I was betrayed by my friends and mentor, and the only people that believe me have no chance of saving me. It's better this way. Slap. Techno. You do not say that about yourself. You have lots of things and people that care about you. If you don't want to live for you, do it for them. I wouldn't want my successor to be a coward now, would I? Izuku looks at Techno and sees a warming smile that radiates the same vibe as his mother's. Izuku then gets an enlightened look on his face. Izuku. Yes, sir. Techno. Good kid. Now, Since you've made that totem beforehand, this is going to be easier than I expected. All I gotta do is transfer your soul into it. Izuku. Hold up, what do you mean? Transfer my soul, am I gonna turn into a doll? Techno. No, but you will look more like me. Oh, and one more thing, kid. Izuku. Yes sir. Techno. Carry on my name. Izuku smiles and nods. Suddenly, he feels a strong tugging force in his gut and it's flung from the white space back into reality. He sees a flash of green and then his vision quickly builds itself back together. What other people see was the boy just got squashed and then the anvil started moving. A green light flashes and the headless figure stands up after pushing the anvil off it. After that, the head regrows, layer by layer. The dust is cleared to show a figure with green hair and covered in sweat. They then hear laughing and then a familiar voice. Izuku. Haha, not even close baby. Technoblade never dies. Adua. Nezu had just gotten back from Tartarus and was now at his desk filling out some paperwork when 4 people barged into his office. They were Aizawa, Momo, Katsuki and Kirishima. He calmly looked up to them, a malicious glint in his eyes. Nezu. I hope you have a good reason to force yourself way in here without my permission, you 4. They gulped and bowed, saying that they were sorry. One of them quickly sprung back up and started speaking with the principal. Aizawa. Nezu, we want to make a wager. Nezu. Interested, oh. And what would it contain? Aizawa. If we find evidence to say that Izuku is innocent, we get him out of that hellhole. Nezu. And if you can't? Aizawa. Then you shall decide the punishment. Nezu gains a sadistic grin. Nezu. All right, I accept. But I had a little conversation before he was sent into prison. The 4 look at him attentively. Nezu. He says that I am neither on his trust list or his hate list and I hope to keep it that way. So I won't help you, but I won't stop you from going anywhere. They think over it for as cons before looking at each other and nodding. Nezu. Great, now. A dark aura surrounds him as he grabs his tea. Nezu. Get out of my office. They nod and scramble out of the office as fast as their legs could take them. Nezu laughs while sipping his tea. Nezu. Ha 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 ha. Outside of the room, all 4 of the trusted people were sweating bullets. They forgot the rules about Nezu. 1. Never barge in without permission. And 2. Don't make deals with the devil. Well, they had 1 month until they either free Izuku or suffer the consequences. 2 weeks later, they had nothing. It had been 2 weeks and they have no evidence to free Izuku. They had watched every camera, gone to every library, searched through every website. But nothing had come up. They only had 2 weeks before his execution. Most of the class didn't care to begin with, but those who did a little, gave up after the first week. Aizawa was sitting at his desk at his office doing paperwork when a knock was heard at his door. Curious, he opened it to find the villainous Toga standing there. He immediately got into a fighting stance, but when he took a further look, she looked to be crying. Aizawa. What are you doing here, Toga? Toga. Well, sniff, I'm here to turn myself in. To say that Aizawa was surprised was an understatement, he was flabbergasted. One of Japan's most feared villains, crying and turning herself in. Aizawa. Why, for all I know, you could be a spy and this could all be an act. Toga. I only wanted Sniff. Izu-kun to be arrested, not Sniff killed. I wanted him to be safe from future disasters and Sniff not be a hero. Aizawa. Skeptical, how can I trust you? Toga. I've got evidence to prove he's innocent, it's a video with audio that I recorded. Aizawa. Really? Show me. We've been trying to prove his innocence for weeks now. Toga then puts on the video that shows the scene between her and Izuku, the transformation and knockout. Aizawa. This is perfect. It can save him for sure. We need to go see Nezu now. Toga. Yay, let's go. Aizawa. But for a precaution, I'm going to put you in quirk-canceling cuffs. Toga nodded and held out her hands in front of her. When they got to the principal's office, Toga was about to kick the door but was stopped by a pale and sweating Aizawa. Aizawa. No, are you crazy? We knock if we want to live. Aizawa knocked and after a few seconds they heard a small, come in. He opened the door to see Nezu sitting at his desk, sipping tea. The principal looks up from his tea to see Aizawa and a handcuffed Toga. Nezu. Ah, Aizawa, you've seemed to have caught a villain, but why have you brought her here? Aizawa. Because of this. He pulls out a small USB and hands it to Nezu. The chimera curiously plays the video and his eyes widen at the contents. Nezu. Oh my goodness. What have we done? We need to get him out of there. We're setting off immediately. Hand Toga over to cytoplasm and grab the other three. Aizawa. On it. Time skip brought to you by Chibi Technoblade kicking a child. Aizawa, Momo, Katsuki and Kirishima are running towards the UA gates when a helicopter flies over them and land in front of them. Inside of it, there was Nezu seated in with an urgent look on his face. The four jump in and ask why he looks so worried. Nezu. I got a call after Aizawa left. It would seem that Izuku's mother was killed by someone and he opted to move forward the execution. Katsuki. By how long? We have time, right? Nezu looks down. Nezu. We have an hour. Momo. An hour. Why did he want it so soon? Aizawa. Think of it by his point of view. He is knocked out by a villain, wakes up to see villains attacking, gets called a traitor, cheated and dumped by his girlfriend, quirk taken and sent to jail. He was innocent and was sentenced to death. His mother was his only thread to sanity, and now that she's dead, he just wants the pain to end. The four are shocked. They never thought of it that way. Kirishima. Wow, we were so unmanly. Nezu. Yes, and it's a miracle how he's lasted so long. There was an awkward atmosphere as they were flying towards Tartarus, but when they arrived, they immediately rushed to the gates. The guards tried to stop them but halted and bowed when they saw Nezu. They ran into the prison yard and pushed through the crowd of people just to see the anvil being released. They watch in horror as they see their student friend Crush being crushed in front of their eyes. They were too late, they couldn't save him. They burst into tears and didn't notice the body twitching and the anvil move. Two other male inmates also didn't focus on the execution but rather on Momo's body. They walk up to her and try to overwhelm her. Prisoner 1. Hey, hot stuff, I don't think I've seen you around here, you new here. Prisoner 2. Yeah, we'll show you around. As he goes to grab her, he is interrupted by a shout. Izuku. Ha ha ha, not even close, baby. Technoblade never dies. Momo turns teary-eyed to see a half-naked and sweating Izuku shouting into the sky. The inmates lose interest and continued to carry out their plan. They grab her arm and she lets out a loud yelp, alerting the four friends and Izuku. The revived boy looks over to the source of the noise and is shocked to see some familiar faces. Nezu, Aizawa, Katsuki, Kirishima and Momo. But Momo seems to be in pain. He looks to her right and sees a prisoner's hand gripping her arm painfully. Izuku turns livid, his green eyes turn red and he speeds over to them faster than a bullet train. He punched him in the gut, putting him in on all fours. Izuku. Don't. He knees his face, causing blood to spurt out his nose. Izuku's hair starts growing at a rapid pace and is turning pink. Izuku. You. He grabs their hair and starts continuously punching his face. He gains a white shirt and a red robe. Izuku. Dare. He grabs him by the neck and holds him in the air. His eyes turn red and a crown appears. Izuku. Touch her. He then magically summons a purple shining sword and menacingly says, Izuku. And it seems that I'm the second worst thing to happen to you. Now come, be honored that you are about to be punished by. He throws the man into the prison wall and yeets his sword at the same time, chopping the convict's arm and some of his newly grown hair off. The man screams in pain as he clenches his now stump of an arm with his remaining hand. Satisfied with his handiwork, Izuku looks at Momo, not knowing that his hair had turned pink. He felt some warm liquid running down his face, he touched it and grimaced. Izuku. Ew, I got prisoner blood on my face. That's, like, exactly how hepatitis happens. Not cool. He looks towards the shell-shocked five and grins. Izuku. Oh, hey guys. Long time no see. The whole prison was now looking at him. He was confused. Izuku. What? Nezu was the first one to break out of the trance. Nezu. What do you mean, what? You literally died and now you're here. You even changed your style. It goes against all of my logical beliefs. Izuku. Ah yes, about that I may now be immortal. Everyone. You what? Izuku. Yeah, remember that flash? That was my quirk awakening, yeah, definitely. Prisoners. Seems legit. 5 friends. He's hiding something. As he was explaining, a prison guard pushed his way through the crowd and saw the bloody scene in front of him. Guard. What happened? He looked at Izuku. Guard. Midoriya. What happened here and what happened to your hair? You look good. Izuku. Officer, I drop-kicked that child in self-defense. You gotta believe me. Guard. But he's like 46. Izuku. And what about my hair? Momo creates a mirror and gives it to the confused boy. The whole yard wait for his response. Izuku. Holy shit. They recoiled from the noise. Izuku. I'm so fucking hot. He then starts doing poses and making faces into the mirror. Everyone's sweat drops at his actions. Nezu. Izuku, we need to talk. First of all, how are you alive? Izuku stops what he's doing and looks at Nezu. Izuku. Oh yeah, I'm alive aren't I? He looks his body up and down. Izuku. Okay, come with me. We need more privacy. Time skip. Izuku, Nezu, Aizawa, Katsuki, Kirishima and Momo walk into a private meeting room and sit down around a round table. Izuku. So what did y'all wanna know? Katsuki. How do you do that you damn nerd? Izuku. Which one? The resurrection stunt or the killing of the orphan? Nezu. Well, first of all, it's about the resurrection, and secondly, how do you know he was an orphan? Izuku. Okay, well, I have a radar for orphans. It's like a spider sense, but instead of awareness of incoming attacks, it's an unstoppable urge to stab them. Nezu. Oh, okay. Well, what happened to you? What happened to your hair? Izuku. Well, Izuku hesitates and they see that. Katsuki. Spit it out nerd. Kirishima. Hey, calm down bro. It's not manly to pester people. Katsuki. Well, if he doesn't speak, I'll blow him up. He made sparks come out of his hand, trying to intimidate Kirishima off. At this moment, a figure materializes next to Izuku. He looked the same as the new Izuku but had longer hair and was noticeably taller. He was also holding a giant, glowing, purple sword. Techno. That won't be necessary Sparkles. I'll talk for the kid. Katsuki. What did you just call me? I'll blow your fucking face off. Techno. Then I'll just have to drop kick you in self-defense. Momo. Huh, that's what Izuku said earlier. Techno. Oh, he must have made his first kill then. Awesome. Nezu. What do you mean, first kill? And who even are you? Techno. Oh, I'm Technoblade. But my friends call me Techno. I have chosen Mr. Izuku Midoriya to be my successor. And for the whole first kill thing, it's sort of a sacrifice to get my powers. Nezu. Is he going to be doing more killing to get more things? Techno. No, not really. He's technically immortal, so killing people won't do him any good, and he's a good kid. I don't want him to be corrupt. Kirishima. Manly cheers, so manly. Aizawa. So, what powers are we talking about? Techno. Well, he will be able to summon weapons. These may be an axe, sword, bow or a shield. Can be summoned with enchants. Summon armor, leather, iron, gold, diamond, netherite. These can all be summoned with enchants as well. Potion maker able to make, summon and store potions. Crafter able to craft weapons and other things from basic materials. Veteran able to analyze a fight or an opponent with ease and use any weapon thrown at him. He can also fight and negotiate like he's an experienced soldier who has gone through many wars. Half-serious mode able to transform into a man with small pig features, like face and hooves. Raises attack and speed. Assault mode able to transform into a half-pig half-man hybrid that greatly raised attack, speed and defense power. But it can also be used for a short amount of time. Wither maker able to summon hundreds of withers at a time or one super wither. Human GPS able to map out and remember places that he's been before in his head. Totem of Undying because of his soul being fused with the totem, he is practically immortal as it won't break. Quote, Aizawa. Whoa, that's very powerful. Techno. What can I say? I'm a very powerful man. Nezu. Are there any drawbacks? Techno. Yes, actually. He will become more prideful and little more sadistic than he was before. He will have a short temper and may resort to violence if angered. He will also occasionally hear voices in his head. I like to call them chat and talk to them every so often. Nezu. Okay, seems rather small for such a strong power. Now, down to business. He looks at Izuku. Nezu. We have found proof that you're innocent and want you to come back to UA. Izuku. Really? How did you find something? Aizawa. Toga confessed. She just didn't want to see you hurt. Izuku. Whisper, that crazy bitch. He looks at Techno. Izuku. Will I be able to control these powers straight away? Techno. Bruu. You think you can control these powers straight away? No chance. Gotta take a few months. Maybe 6 to 8 months will do. Nezu. Well, there are 7 months until your class move up a year, so you'll be in class 2A if you join. Izuku. I will join but on 3 conditions. Nezu. Intruded asterisk, go on. Izuku. First, I want to stay at Tartarus until I completely master my new powers. Secondly, I want Stain's time here to be shortened or removed. He was the only one in this shithole that believed in me. Last and definitely not least, I want to fight Endeavor when I get out. A dark aura surrounds him and Technoblade. Nezu. They all seem to be doable. But, why Endeavor? Shouldn't All Might put up a better challenge? Izuku grabs an envelope with the letter in that Endeavor wrote to him. Izuku. The day of my release, open it. And you will realize everything. Nezu. Okay, got it. Now, I think we should get going everyone. Everyone. Yes sir. As they were leaving the prison, Momo turns to Izuku. He looks at her and she blushes. Momo. Izuku. Can you bend down a little please? Izuku does so. Izuku. Okay, now walk. Momo suddenly kisses his cheek and runs away to the group, face in her hands and steam coming out of her ears. Izuku. Huh, I guess that's cool. Techno. Looks like you got a girlfriend. Izuku jumps in shock. Izuku. You're still here. Techno. Looks like you'll have to read How to Sex, after all. Izuku. Blushing, shut up. It had been half an hour since Izuku's classmates had left and now he and Technoblade were talking about their favorite weapon. Izuku. The axe has a longer reach and has a good momentum, but the bow is a versatile weapon. It has a long range for shooting and short range for just hitting them. Techno. Well yes, but that being said, the axe does better critical damage and has better durability. Izuku. Okay, that is true, but we have both forgotten the fishing rod. Techno. Ah yes, the almighty rod. How could I forget? Izuku. So, anyways, what training am I gonna do? Techno. Everything. You're gonna be an entirely new person by the end of it. It's gonna be hell. Techno smiled like Aizawa and Izuku gulped. Izuku. Oh, shit. Not good. Techno. But what about your ex-classmates? Are you gonna forgive them? Izuku. I dunno. Maybe. All depends on how they react when I come back actually. Techno. Alright, that's good. So now, without further ado, let's get to training. First month. Techno had made Izuku a rigorous training program. 500 push-ups, 500 sit-ups, 500 squats, 50 kilometers run, all with 200 kilograms weights on every day. At first, it was hell, but after a week or so, he got used to it. Technoblade was a ruthless teacher, almost as bad as Gran Torino's teaching back in his first year. Second month, he had been continuously doing the training regimen and his strength, endurance and speed had been raised by 400%. Techno had been pleased by this and had now been referring to him as Izuku and not kid or casual. He had been taught the basics of swordplay and had added tree felling to his regimen to strengthen his swing and to buff him out some more. Third month, he had mastered all sword plays and had a lean, muscular figure. He had grown from 5 feet 6 to 6 feet 2 and his hair had grown from short to waist length. He had asked Techno about this and he had just replied with Techno. Hey, oh, that, you get used to it after a while. Just put it in a bun or play it so it doesn't get in the way, that's what I do. And so he did and he looked fiend. Fourth month. People had started seeing the transformations in the prison and he had been seeing things scribbled on the walls of his cell. Weak, freak, die worthless mutt, animal. It was nothing he hadn't heard before but it still had an impact. He became more emotionless than before and started speaking in a more calm and monotone voice and less angered or excited. Like Technoblade, his training had led on to sword fighting with the big man himself. Let's just say he now has a new collection of scars to match those on his hands and arms. The most notable one is one across his nose when Izuku's sword broke and sliced his face. It instantly healed, but he still felt the pain for a few hours afterwards. He had learned many martial art and had made his own, and he called it Pig Step. It was one that covered his blind spots and was one that was unpredictable to others. He had also had to wear 500 kilograms weights to make the workouts harder. 5th month. He had been suffering the bullying for a while now and he had been able to ignore it. But one day they took it too far. While Izuku and Techno's guard was down while they were sleeping, one of the convicts had somehow broken his quirk-canceling cuffs and had control over his quirk. His quirk was called Fusion. It allowed him to fuse or stick an object onto anything permanently and it cannot be removed. For what they were about to do, they had saved 2 small hog tusks from when they had pork for dinner over the last 5 months and had opened Izuku's cell. As he slept, they had strapped him to his bed and injected him with a drug that slowed regeneration before cutting his mouth at the corners, making it wider and bloody. Izuku immediately woke up because of the pain and had started thrashing around. He looked at the prisoners with hate in his eyes as the quirk user inserted the 2 tusks into his now cut mouth and used his quirk on it, sealing them there forever. They then sewed it up and injected the antidote for the drug while smiling smugly. Prisoner 1. Haha. That's what you get, you filthy mongrel. Prisoner 2. Yeah, you fucking animal. That night, all that could be heard throughout the halls of Tartarus were the screaming of those 3, the insane laugh of Izuku and the scribbling of pen on paper as the warden pardoned what he did. 6th month. It had been taking some getting used to, but he had gotten used to his new appearance. He had also learned to always keep his guard up. This led to him only having as little sleep as possible. Normally 30 minutes 1 hour long. He had perfected all martial art and powers he had gained, even all of the potion recipes. It had taken Izuku less than Techno had expected and they had gained a father and son bond over the past half year. Techno's influence over Izuku can be seen, mostly through his sarcasm and sadistic views of the world. All that they had to do now, was read the entire art of Technoblade. Right now, we see Technoblade reading Izuku, the potato wore 2 feet. Techno. And after my months of grinding potatoes, I had finally done it. I was going to be humble and give my competition some fave, but no. I rubbed it in that squid kid's face so hard. And that's how I lost a year of my life. Izuku. Stars in his eyes. Whoa, so cool. Can I farm? Techno. Well, you can try, but I bet you won't get as good as me. Izuku. Ah, okay, but can I? At this moment, the warden rushed in the cell they were taking in. Warden. Out of breath. UUSJ. Under a attack. This made Izuku groan. Izuku. Again. They need new tricks. He looks at Techno. Izuku. Should we go through the nether or pearl it? Techno. Well, you see, if we pearl, it's just very sudden and boring. But, if we go through the nether, it's a great dramatic exit. They both grin at each other. Izuku. I'll do the honors. To the confusion of the warden, he summoned a black-colored chalk and drew a large, rectangular shape on the wall. He then grabbed a match from his bed and lit it. Izuku. Ah, I'm gonna enjoy this. He threw the match at the drawing and disappeared. The drawing seemed to come out of the call and become a physical, blocky portal and glowed purple for a moment. Warden. Sue, is something supposed to happen or? Techno. Give it a minute. After a few seconds, the outer parts of the portal started to leak a purple and pink gas, but it seemed to be constricted to inside the portal as it didn't leak everywhere. After the gas filled the frame, there was a small shockwave as a low humming noise then sounded. Izuku and Techno nodded to each other. Techno evaporated into a pink mist and flew into Izuku's head as Izuku jumped through the portal, leading him into the nether. He took a deep breath before releasing it with a smile. Izuku. Ah, I love the smell of burning in the morning. The boy ran for a minute, which was probably a few miles, and did the same thing again with the portal. As he was about to jump in, his crown glowed a bright white. He smiled and jumped through the portal, hoping that it looked cool. At the USJ, villains had attacked and were winning. The class were surrounded in the middle of the facility and were scared. Mina. What do we do, guys? We're surrounded. Mineta. I don't wanna die. I've not even touched a boob yet. Katsuki. Stay calm everyone, I have a plan. He looked at Momo who nodded back. They had to trust him. Flashback. They were still in the meeting room back at the prison and were about to leave when Izuku called Katsuki and Momo over. Izuku. Hey, Kachan, Momo, come here a minute. They curiously nodded and walked over to him. Izuku. If you're ever in trouble, crush the stone, it will alert me and I'll try to get there as soon as possible. Momo. Katsuki. Got it. Present time. Shigaraki was monologuing about his plan. Shiggy. Ha 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 ha. Look at the heroes, can't even handle some weak villains. What are you gonna do? Cry about it. Ha 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 ha. He then started laughing madly and had an insane smile on his face. It was at this moment that Katsuki stood in front of the class. Katsuki. We don't need to cry, we've got everything under control. Shiggy. How? We've got everything. 5 super Nomus. He pointed to the 5 hulking figures in front of the students. Shiggy. Your teacher. Everyone looks at the barely conscious Aizawa. Shiggy. And you all surrounded. He slowly walks towards the group. Shiggy. So what could you possibly have that I don't? Katsuki smiled. Katsuki. I hate to say it to you. He takes a step closer towards Shigaraki. Katsuki. But I have something that you'll never, ever have. Shiggy. Mocking. Oh. And what's that? Katsuki chuckled and lets off some small explosions. He pulls out a crystal out of his hero outfit pocket. Katsuki. I have the blade. He crushes a crystal and purple smoke immediately covers the ground. Shiggy. Kurogiri. Is this your doing, Kurogiri? And no sir. A deep voice reverberated around the facility. I was having a good sleep. I was laying there, getting some shut-eye. What did you have to bring me here, Katsuki? The gas accumulates into a big purple ball and then exploded, revealing a man with long pink hair in a dress shirt, black waistcoat, red robe and jeans and was wearing a pig skull mask. Izuku. Which one do you fuckheads dare mess with my friends? He draws his netherite sword and points it at a random villain. Izuku. Was it you? The villain shakes his head frantically. He points at another random villain. Izuku. Was it you? The villain faints as soon as he points at him. Izuku lowers his sword. Izuku. Izuku then glares at Shigaraki. Izuku. Was it you? Izuku. Was it you? He glared at Shigaraki. The handyman faltered a bit. Shiggy. We have no business together. Now scram before you get hurt. This made Izuku chuckle, then giggle, then laugh, and that turned into a full-blown fit of insane laughter. He was clutching his sides while rolling in the ground, laughing maniacally. After a while, he stopped laughing and stood up, looking at the now furious Shigaraki. Izuku. Oh ho ho ho, no business together. You really crack me up, handjob. Shiggy. No matter. I don't care if we have history. All I care about is killing those stupid heroes in training. Now go before I kill you. Izuku. Hey, you wanna fight? You do know it's tough to kill a god. Izuku then disappears from everyone's view and reappears in front of one of the super Nomus. It was a 7-feet humanoid creature with enlarged arms and legs with webbed and clawed hands and a wide jaw filled with sharp yellow teeth and a large tongue. He grabbed the monster's jaw and ripped it off, spraying blood everywhere. Before the creature could react, Izuku summoned his trusty orphan obliterator and shoved it down its throat, instantly killing it. The boy then pulled it out and looked at Shigaraki nonchalantly. Izuku. Super Nomu. It didn't even have regeneration. What the fuck? He then ran to another super Nomu. He grabbed both the Nomu's antenna and swung it around like a lasso, eventually smashing it down upon the ground, breaking half of the creature's legs. He hums a little tune while stabbing and slicing it with his sword. Song at the top, just better sung. Izuku. Mumble, 99 bottles of milk on the wall. He chops of the tail of the Nomu. Izuku. 99 bottles of milk. The rips one of the antenna of its head. Izuku. Take one down, pass it around, 98 bottle of beer on the wall. He then put it out of its misery by stamping his foot on the monster's head. Izuku. Damn, another one without regeneration. How low is the supply of healing quirks? He kicks the carcass towards the shell-shocked handyman and slowly strolls towards him. Izuku. Now, There's still 98 bottles of milk on my wall and there are. He counts the amount of small villains that surround the class. Izuku. Oh, would you look at that. There are 98 of you left. He gains a crazed smile. Izuku. Let's see how long you last. He then sped off towards where the most villains were located. With the class, Katsuki and Momo were shaking where they stand. Rightfully so, as they had just seen an unknown person kill things in front of them. Mina. Who is that G guy? Sue. My animal eye instincts tell me to run. Ribbit. Mineta. Insert pissing noises. Tokiyami. I feel the darkness radiating off him. Most were subconsciously backing away from the scene. The only ones that didn't move were Katsuki, Momo and Kirishima. The redhead didn't move as he felt some sort of connection with the pink-haired boy. He shuffled his way over to the other two to ask them something. Kiri. Whisper, hey, bro. Do you know who that dude is? Katsuki. Yes, now watch him, shitty hair. The blonde then looks down towards the bloodbath where there is Izuku killing and knocking people out. Denki. Jiro, can why you hear what he's saying? Everyone looks towards the punk girl who has her earphone jack plugged into the ground. Jiro. Why yes, but it doesn't make any sense. Zero. What do why you mean? Jiro. I'll just show you. She then plugged her other earphone jack into the speaker on her legs. The class surrounded the girl as they listened. Izuku. Haha, yes peasants. Blood for the blood god. They all watch in horror as decapitated heads flew from the battlefield, bones were broken and screams were heard. By the time Izuku had finished his songs about bottles of milk, all of the villains were dead or dying, most were dead though. Throughout all of the broken and bloody limbs, there was a long figure, panting while looking at the sky with a sword and axe in his hands. As the dust settled, Izuku saw Shigaraki furiously scratching at his neck, drawing blood. Shiggy. Damn you, you cheated, I'll have to send the antivirus to wipe the game clean. Kurogiri. Bring Project No. 9 to kill him. Kurogiri. But sir, Project number 9 is still in Taze. Shiggy. I don't care. He cheated and he doesn't listen to me. Kurogiri. Sigh, as you wish sir. After he said that, a gigantic portal of purple mist was created. The portal shook and out came a 7-foot-tall, 15-feet-long creature on all fours with pitch-black skin and scars running along it. The monster had no eyes but an exposed brain and spikes running along from its head all the way down to its lower back. Shiggy. Ahahahaha. What are you gonna do now, hero? I'll tell you what, nothing. You're all just money seekers from the government. This struck a nerve in Izuku. He has been taught under Technoblade. He didn't just gain his powers and battle prowess, but also his ideals and views. Izuku. Hey, don't link me in with that tyrannical piece of shit. I'm an anarchist for your information, dipshit. Shigaraki was surprised with this new information. Not only did this person agree with their views but was also an anarchist. He thought up of a plan and grinned under the hand covering his face. Shiggy. Well then, why don't you join us? The heroes will just hold you back, while we will let you roam free. Destroy the government. Share your ideology. Free the world from their oppressors. Everyone's blood ran cold. If Izuku joined the opposing team, they would surely lose. There was silence within the facility before. Izuku. Pwahahahahaha. You think that after all of what you did to me, I would join you pieces of shits? That's fucking hilarious. For a second time this hour, Izuku was on the ground rolling while laughing. This left Shigaraki stunned as he thought that after his speech, he would surely join. To say that he was angry was an understatement, he was furious. He had just been embarrassed in front of many people. Who wouldn't be? Shiggy. Angry, I don't even know who you are. Go on. Fucking tell me you shithead. Izuku. Oh handjob, you never learn, do you? He approached Shigaraki. This made said male get nervous. Shiggy. Stay back. Izuku. It would seem after all of your meticulous planning. He's 10 meters away from Shigaraki. Izuku. You forgot one simple piece. He's 5 meters away. Izuku. You. 4 meters. Izuku. Ruined. 3 meters. Izuku. My. 2 meters. Izuku. Life. 1 meter. Shigaraki was shitting his pants right now. This unknown dude with major killing intent is approaching him right now and he still doesn't know who he is. Izuku. I am inevitable. Goddammit. Take 2 Izuku. Izuku. I am Technoblade. He then dashed towards Project number 9 and sliced one of its legs off. Just as quickly as it was sliced off, it grew back. This made Izuku smile. Izuku. Finally, regeneration, a worthy challenge. Out battle shall be legendary. The Nomu just roared in response and ran towards Izuku with its mouth open. Izuku jumped over the mouth as it closed and sliced one of the spikes on its head off. It regenerated and Izuku cursed. Izuku. Shit, this may be harder than I thought. He used a strength potion and sliced the creature's tail off. He then grabbed the dissected tail and smashed it into the creature's back leg with such force that it broke it and caused a compound fracture. The Nomu roared in pain as it regenerated and hit him with its tail in revenge. Izuku was launched into the mountain zone and was lodged into one of the cliff sides with blood pointing from his head and an arm missing. The heroes could only feel dread as their last hope seemed to die and fear began to creep upon them. They all slowly turned towards the leader of the villains, who had a victorious smile on his face. Shiggy. Ha 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 ha. Where is all of that big talk now, hero? You're a god. Then back it up. Show me. Oh wait, you can't because you're dead. Ha 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 ha. Most of the class slowly back away from the insane villain as he looks at them. But to the confusion of them, Katsuki and Momo seem to be calm. Hagakure. How are you so calm? We're going to die here. The class nod in agreement. Momo. Because he can win. Katsuki. Just give him a minute. Kirishima. Bakubro, what do you mean? Before he could finish, explosions could be heard. They looked towards the source of the noise to see green and yellow fireworks going off and a rectangular figure speared in the air, spun and disappeared soon after. There was silence until, ha, did you really think, Shigaraki, that you could kill me that easily? Izuku then stepped out of the mountain, no wounds and a new arm. He then began to transform. The pig's skull gained a pink color and his eyes turned fully white, his once long, messy, pink hair straightened and plaited itself. He gained black gloves and his crown grew from the little badge on his chest and rested itself on his head. After he transformed into his half-cirrus form, he stretched and summoned a netherite pickaxe. He sprinted towards the Nomu, stabbing it everywhere. Legs, torso, you name it, he had stabbed. The Nomu had gotten tired, it had been constantly using stamina to regenerate and the human didn't seem to be slowing down. This made Shigaraki scream, Shiggy. You have done so much fucking damage to everything we have been building for this techno. Izuku kicked the monster and it stumbled back. He got in a squatting position and readied his final attack. Izuku. I have a pickaxe. The creature roared, exposing its yellow, sharp fangs. Izuku. And I'll put it through your teeth. He threw the pickaxe into the Nomu's mouth, breaking teeth, piercing its skull and stabbing its brain. Project number 9 stopped moving as its legs gave up on it and it collapsed. Izuku walked up to the corpse and ragged his tool out of its head. He sighed and looked towards Shigaraki. Izuku. You wanted to know my name, didn't you? Shigaraki cautiously and shakily nodded. Izuku looked up to Momo and pointed to his head. The girl realized what he was going and created a cardboard box. She then covered her stomach, created the object that he wanted and threw it down to him. Izuku caught the box and smiled. Izuku. Oh, they're gonna be having nightmares tonight. He unsealed the box and grabbed the contents. As he pulled it out, everyone saw a green wig. Katsuki caught on to what he was doing and laughed. Izuku then, de-transformed, removed his mask and put the wig on. As he looked up, everyone was shocked. How was he here? Izuku, with the smile now crazed, adjusted his glove and said. Izuku. Did ya miss me, Shigaraki? Shiggy. BB, but you're in Tartarus. You shouldn't have this much power. All Might took it back. Izuku's smile disappeared and was replaced with a snarl. Izuku. Don't think that me and that bastard are related in any way. He is a peasant and I will make sure everyone knows it. Izuku then summoned his orphan obliterator and charged towards Shigaraki. Shiggy. Kurogiri. Get us out of here. Kurogiri. Why yes sir. A purple mist surrounded Shigaraki as both he and Kurogiri disappeared. Izuku sighed and lowered his sword. He looked towards the shell-shocked class, smiled and waved. Izuku. What up casuals? Izuku. What up casuals? Most of the class were in shock. The one that was deemed the traitor had just returned and beaten something that all of them combined couldn't handle. Lita. What are you doing here, villain? Don't worry, class 1 shall stop him. As Lita gets into a fighting stance, Katsuki, Momo and Kirishima try to stop him but were halted by Izuku's next words. Izuku. Nah, it's okay. It's not like he can do anything anyways. He then folds his arms and waits for Lita's move. Seeing this, the brunette is furious. How dare he look down on him? Lita. Fuck you, villain. Recipro burst. His leg engines spurt out blue fire as he speeds up towards Izuku. Izuku merely summoned his fishing rod and wrapped it round Lita's leg. He then pulled it, taking Lita off course and causing him to fall face first on the ground. This made the three believers chuckle as he had just made a fool out of himself. Izuku then mockingly reeled him in and decided to humiliate him more. Izuku. Well, would you look at that? It seems I've caught a dipshit. Must be the last one of the season as well. Lita's face turned red as he struggled to break out of the twine keeping him coiled. He thrashed about, with little effect, before Izuku got bored and chopped him on the back of the neck. Izuku. Okay, now that this is over and done with, can I get an F in the chat? The class look at him in confusion. Ochako. Okay, I'll bite. How are you here, traitor? Izuku was in disbelief, not because she called him traitor but because she didn't see him arrive. Izuku. Are you fucking kidding me? This made the class recoil in shock. Had the past class cinnamon roll just swore. Izuku. You didn't see the light show. The purple mist. Any of it, even when I was really badass and powerful. This was supposed to be a cool bonding moment and you just ruined it. Uraraka, the moment is ruined. He threw his hands up helplessly and withdrew his rod, making the unconscious Lita fall to the ground. As Izuku was pouting, the heroes arrived. They included All Might, Nezu, Power Loader, Midnight, Present Mic and Ectoplasm. As soon as All Might saw Izuku, and before Nezu could stop him, he jumped in. Am. It is time to bring you down, villain. He then pulls back his hand. Am. Detroit. He punches towards Izuku's direction. Izuku. Oh she. Am. Smash. As the punch connects, a gigantic dust cloud covers the area. Everyone has to close their eyes from the debris as it hit them. As the dust settles, the heroes see a massive crater with two figures in the center. One was All Might and the other was a humanoid pig creature. This creature is actually Izuku in his assault mode and he was pissed. His arm was shattered after catching the blow, but it regenerated at a fast rate because of his transformation. Izuku. So this is the thanks I get for saving their asses. He then, to everyone's surprise, retransforms into his semi-serious form, just in case, and glares at the number one hero, hate evident in his eyes. Izuku. What a hero you are. Fucking peasant. Am. What did you say, villain? Izuku. I said you're a fucking peasant. What are you gonna do about? Huh, take away this power as well. Nana would be ashamed. Am. How do you know of that name? You have no right to speak those wor. Izuku. Chuckles darkly. Oh. No right, oh ho ho hee hee ha 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 ha. That's fucking hilarious. Over 2 years with that fucking secret, training it, powering up and all in one moment. Poof. Gone. Am. What do you mean? Izuku then starts laughing hysterically. He walks towards All Might and picks up the fallen green wig. Izuku. Do you know what that does to a boy? Am. Stand back, villain. Izuku removed the mask and changed his eyes from its normal red to its former green. Am. I'm warning you. All Might gets in a fighting stance as Izuku puts on the wig. The only thing remaining of his past look is the scarring of the pig tusks. Izuku. Did it make you proud? Am. What do you mean? Izuku looks up and shows All Might as blood falls out of his mouth. Izuku. Did it make you proud? Am. Midoriya, you should be in Tartarus. Izuku. And I was until, oh Nezu, you son of a bitch. Izuku looks at Nezu. The chimera just cheerfully smiles back. Izuku. So you didn't tell them? Nezu. No, I thought it'd be fun. And it was. Izuku sighed. Izuku mutters, "Of course you did. Ochako haven't told us what, sir." Everyone quietens and looks at Nezu. Nezu calmly looks around at each and everyone in the facility. Finishing at Izuku, he then points at said boy. Nezu. Everyone, what do you think of Mr. Midoriya here? The group then erupts with shouts like, "Traitor," and, "He's an animal," and, "Murderer." There were some saying, "Not guilty," and, "Innocent." There was one saying, "Sexy, though." Nezu. Now, what if I were to say that he was innocent? At this point, Lita had just woken up and heard all of what Nezu had said. Lita. Impossible, sir. How could this piece of trash not be a traitor? Nezu's eyebrow twitched and he raised a remote. Nezu. Well, maybe this will suffice. He pressed a button and the glass dome of the USJ turned into a massive screen as it showed the full video of Toga's and Izuku's dispute. After seeing the footage of Izuku's innocence, the class were speechless. Izuku, the one that they believed was a traitorous scum, was innocent. They all looked towards the boy, who was sitting down and looking away from them with a smug grin on his face, his red eyes gleaming in delight. Izuku. Oh ho ho ho. I take back what I said, Nezu. This is fun. Nezu raised a brow. Nezu. Sadism buddies. Anyway, he is innocent and he is going to come back to UA as a student again. This time, there was no explosion of chatter. Only the rustling of a green wig and the sound of steps nearing the exit of the facility. They looked to see a very bored Izuku looking at them. Izuku. Are you going or what? Time skip. There he was. Back at the place where he made so many memories, good and bad. He walks down the halls, remembering all of the events that happened. That was until he came across 4 people. Mirio, Tamaki, Najire and Eri turned the corner to see a man with pink hair and in royal clothes looking at the notice board with a smile on his face and leaning on a sword plunged into the ground. They all immediately get on edge as they don't recognize him. Mirio. Hey, who are you? Izuku immediately turns and notices Eri. She looks so depressed, it hurt him to see his adoptive daughter like that. He tries to speak as a lump forms in his throat. Izuku. Eri. The little girl slowly looks at him and tears fill her eyes. Eri. Papa. Izuku then covers his mouth as tears threaten to spill. He feels an emotion that he hasn't felt in a long time, happiness. He's happy that even though he's changed from someone that was always happy to this cold-blooded, nonchalant murderer, that she still remembers him and views him as her father. He nods and Eri smiles. Eri. Papa. She then jumps into his arms, knocking his crown off, as they both start to cry. They hug tightly as if afraid that if they let go, the other might disappear. The class had now arrived and were viewing the scene in front of them. They felt ashamed that they not only betrayed their classmate and almost killed them, but also separated a father and daughter. Eri. Papa, where were you? I was sad and unhappy without you. Izuku. I'm sorry, Snowball. Something happened and I had to change it. I'll never leave again. They then separate and it was only now that Eri realized that he looked different. And it was only now that Izuku realized that Eri had also changed. Izuku. Eri. Why do you have pink hair, Eri? Papa. They both look at each other and laugh. After they finished, Aizawa explained why Eri's hair was pink. Aizawa. She said that she didn't want to look like her old self after the incident with Overhaul. She wanted to change her hair color, so I suggested pink because I had seen your transformation a few months ago. Izuku nodded and looked back at Eri, who was looking at the crown on the floor. Izuku. Hey, Eri. She turned her attention to the pink-haired boy. Eri. Yes, Papa. Izuku. Can you put my crown on my head? Eri's face lit up in joy as she nodded frantically and picked up the crown. As she places it on his head, Aizawa took a picture of the wholesome moment. Izuku then hugs Eri and she hugs back. Izuku. I'll never leave again. After Izuku's reunion and a few tears were shed, the pink-haired boy walked up to Nezu's office to discuss the fight. Before he could knock, there was a shaky, "Come in," heard from the inside. As he entered, he saw a shaking Nezu holding the letter that Endeavor had given Izuku. Izuku. Ah, yes. I was actually going to ask you about that, that's why I'm here. Do you allow me to fight him now, Principal? Nezu. Oh ho 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 ho, yes Izuku. But I have a request before you carry out this fight. Izuku. I'm listening. Nezu smiled sadistically while grabbing and stirring his tea. Nezu. You see, I've seen what you're like out on the battlefield and towards people you hate, and it reminds me of myself. So, I have come up with the idea of having a little partnership, brotherhood if you please. To help you get revenge against them. And all I ask in return is for you to do the same for my torturers. Now it was Izuku's turn to smile. Izuku. It seems like we have come to an agreement. What do you think, chat? I'll put a poll up. Nezu was unfazed by his actions as he had already seen him do it at the USJ and he already knew it was going to happen when it was explained back at Tartarus. Nezu. So, brother. What have they said? Izuku. It seems I'll have to be with you a bit longer, brother. They both smile at each other and laugh maniacally. After a good few minutes of laughing, they calm down and then begin to plan the fight between him and Endeavor. Izuku. Is it possible to do it today? Nezu. 1 minute, I'll need to take a phone call. Izuku nods and Nezu grabs his phone. He scrolls for a minute, trying to find a phone number, before finding Endeavor's agency's phone number. He calls the number and waits for the receiver to pick up. After 2 rings, Endeavor himself picks up the phone. Principal Nezu, sir, what is it that you need of me? Nezu's eye twitched at that Endeavor is trying to play the nice guy. Nezu. Yes, I am here to make a proposition. What may that be, sir? Nezu. We have somebody here that wants to have a little fight with you. And he said something about knowing a family secret. He hasn't told me yet, so I don't know whether. I accept, but only if it is a life and death battle. If it isn't, then I will refuse to come. Nezu looks at Izuku, who is just yawning while tinkering at a little red and white rocket-shaped object. Nezu. No, that shouldn't be a problem. He's all right with it. At what time should you want to? I'll be there in an hour. Don't let him leave. Nezu then gets a dark aura around him. Not only had this puny human interrupted him twice, but had also forgotten his formalities apparently. Nezu. Deathly calm. Are you missing something there, Enji? Why yes, sir. Nezu. Good, now goodbye, Endeavor. Goodbye, sir. After Nezu ended the call, he grinned at Izuku, who was grinning back, wearing his crafting glasses and now reading The Art of War. Le time skip. It was 3 p.m. and Izuku was waiting for Endeavor in the middle of a ring from the 1v1s in the sports festival. Surrounding the arena was Class 2A, Class 2B, Aizawa, Vlad King, Nezu and All Might. After a few minutes of chatter, a black car rolls up and out comes Endeavor in his hero costume. He walks up to the ring and looks Izuku up and down. He frowns and stares at Nezu questioningly. Sir, who is he? I don't know him. Nezu. I shall tell you later, now get on with the fight. The flame hero nods as Nezu starts to referee the match. Nezu. This is a life and death battle between the number 2 hero and Technoblade. The battle can only be ended by death or serious injury. Any questions from the combatants? No. Then begin. Endeavor started by immediately firing a blast of blue fire towards our protagonist, engulfing him. Endeavor sneers while the classes shout. Momo. Izuku, no. Lita. Haha, that villain gets what he deserves. Katsuki. Deku. Class 2B. Izuku. Deku. Midoriya. Even Nezu was standing there with a hint of worry in his eyes. Really? He thought he could fight against me? Ha. Pathetic. He begins to walk off, but he then feels a hand on his shoulder. He quickly turns to see Izuku standing there, with what seems to be thin orange and yellow steam flowing off him. Izuku. You know, that could have killed a normal person, bastard. Enraged. What did you call me? Izuku. I called you a bastard. What are you gonna do now? Abuse another Kai. Shut it. He sent another wave of fire towards Izuku, who just stood there and took it like an absolute unit. Izuku. It didn't work last time. What went on in your head to say, oh, yeah. That would kill him, that would. He then summons his crossbow and loads a golden arrow in it. Izuku. What do you think is the main purpose of being a hero, Endeavor? He shoots at the hero, who tries to incinerate the arrow, but it goes straight through and cuts his cheek. The meaning of a hero is to save people and to give others hope. He makes a spear out of fire which he throws at Izuku. Said boy just summoned his shield and deflected it. Izuku. Do you know what happens to heroes, Enji? The fire hero shakes his head while deflecting another arrow. Izuku. Nothing good, Enji. He then summons a rocket and uses that instead of arrows. Endeavor narrowly misses getting hit by it. White sparks fly from the floor where it hit. Endeavor then runs up to Izuku and grabs his arm, searing it at the same time. Izuku kicks the hero's chest, knocking the wind out of him, and knocking him onto one knee. Izuku then summons 2 black skulls, one in each hand, and places them down in front of him. Izuku. Do you wanna be a hero number 2? Yes, more than anything in the world. Izuku grins and summons a 3rd black skull and places it in between the other 2. Dark clouds brew as lightning and thunder strike. The ground shakes as the skulls enlarge and a skeletal body raises from the ground. The creature's empty eye sockets look towards the kneeling hero and all 3 groan. Izuku's eyes become crazed and his smile becomes maniacal. Izuku. Then die like one. One of the wither's head then shot an image of itself and flew towards Endeavor. He tries firing streams of blue fire at the skull but it does nothing to stop its path. Endeavor tries everything to stop the monster, but the wither is relentless in its attacks. It eventually blows one of his arms off by the moon elbow, only leaving a bloodied stump. Even throughout all of the battles and attacks he has been through, he has never been through so much pain. He cries out in anguish. Aarrgghhhhhh. Izuku laughs wickedly. No remorse can be heard. Izuku. Ha 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 ha. This is what happens when you don't have plot armor. Ha 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 ha. Izuku's laugh and Endeavor's cries merge into a horrible symphony that makes everyone recoil in fear. Eventually, the wither starts to peel away and disintegrate, leaving only black dust on the floor. Izuku. Oh no, I was having fun right there. Looks like the match is finished. Please make it stop. What do you want? Money, women, power. I'll give it to you. Please. Why would you do this to me? Izuku. Why? You ruined my life. Your sick fantasy got found out by me and you killed my parents. And I'm my defense. This is hilarious. Hee. Izuku then summons a splash bottle with a pink liquid inside it. It smelled of strawberries and watermelon. Izuku. You may have ruined my life. But I wanna do this again sometime soon. He then threw the bottle at the fallen hero and the stump of an arm starts regenerating at a vigorous rate and in no less than 5 seconds, it had completely grown back. Everyone stared in shock as Izuku walks away and looks back with a smug grin on his face. Izuku. This is what the number 2 hero can do. What a scam. Right now, we see Izuku lazily walking away from the arena while holding his sword on his shoulder and a bored look on his face. Izuku. That's what the number 2 hero can do. What a scam. He then gets an idea and stops in his tracks. He slowly turns around and everyone is slightly disturbed by his face. Izuku. Ha, 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 I have an idea. As he starts walking back towards the arena, a slow laugh can be heard. When he got to the middle of the stage, he kicks the passed out hero off of it and turns to look directly at the audience. Izuku. All of those that believed that I wasn't the traitor raise your hand. Katsuki, Momo, Kirishima, Tokiyami, Monoma, Aizawa and Nezu raise their hands. Izuku looks questioningly at Monoma and Tokiyami, mostly Monoma, but they got a response. Monoma. What? He isn't an egotistical freak like the rest of Class 2A. He treated us like equals. Tokiyami. Yeah, I realized months ago that Izuku could never do this kind of thing. I was just blinded by grief and darkness to see the truth. Izuku just smiled and gestured for them to come up to the stage. The 7 walk up to the stage and Izuku starts speaking again. Izuku. These 7 people are under my protection. If anyone even looks in their general direction with a hint of malice. He grins. Izuku. Then I may just have to make a sacrifice to the blood god. The crowd pale at the statement and nod frantically, but those fucking 2 idiots decided to speak against him again. Ochako. What makes them better than us? Lita. Yeah, why do they get special treatment, fucker? Izuku shakily calms himself before speaking. Izuku. Well, you see. He gestures to Katsuki. Izuku. My best friend since childhood, brother in everything except blood. We may have not seen eye to eye, but he had my back during my betrayal. He gestures to Kirishima. Izuku. Always there to cheer me and everyone up. May not have the smarts, but what he lacks in brain he makes up in brawn and courage. Honestly, one of the best people I have met in my life. He gestures to Tokiyami. Izuku. Revelry in the dark. They nod to each other. He gestures to Monoma. Izuku. He may not look it, but he is a loyal and kind individual. His vision was blinded by his crave to be more powerful than others. After befriending him, mutter, and kicking his ass, normal, he is one of my most trusted associates. He gestures to Aizawa. Izuku. My teacher and carer when I had no one. He has been with me thick and thin, good times and the bad. He is more than a teacher to me, he is a parental figure. One that gives me hope and security. He gestures to Nezu. Izuku. Ah, Nezu, my fellow animal companion in the Brotherhood. We will have fun together in the upcoming months and I am so looking forward to it. They look at each other and grin. He then gestures to Momo. Izuku. And Momo. He starts walking towards her. Izuku. The light that thawed away the darkness. He got closer to her. Izuku. There for me when I needed her. He was now next to her. He placed his hands around her waist and whispered in her ear. Izuku. Whisper, and mine. She blushes and he kisses her. She is initially shocked but melts into the kiss as well. After a minute or so, they disconnect. A thin line of saliva in between them. Down at the audience, everyone is shocked. He just made a move on the hottest girl in the year. Two people are especially jealous. One gravity-defying girl and a dual-haired boy. Lita noticed Uraraka's jealousy and it furious. Lita. Midoriya, you bastard. Blue flames fire out of his legs as he launches himself to Izuku. Said boy summons a shield and deflects the oncoming attack and hold an axe at Lita's neck. Izuku. Nezu. Nezu. Yes, Izuku. Izuku. Lita vs Technoblade. Nezu. Grins, oh. Yes, 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 yes. Izuku looks at Lita. Izuku. We're gonna resolve this with a trial by combat. Lita. Yes, I'll fucking kill you. Izuku grins and pushes him away. He then summons a block of TNT and, without breaking eye contact, explodes the middle of the arena, making a dust-filled pit. While Izuku and Lita are glaring at each other, Nezu is grinning widely and sipping on his tea. Where did he get that? Nezu. Lita. Izuku. Get in there. They walk in the pit and Nezu chuckled. Izuku. I say armor less and with shields. Lita removes his hero suit, leaving only a black skin-tight male leotard, while Izuku nods and removes his crown and robe. He then summons another shield and throws it to Lita, who just scoffs and throws it to the side, saying he doesn't need that to beat him. Izuku just shrugs and drops his own shield. Nezu. Okay then, just armor less and only hand-to-hand combat. They both nod and get into a fighting position. Izuku, right away, can see many flaws in his technique, making him laugh internally. Nezu sees it as well and decided to make fun of him. Nezu. You know what, Lita can do the first hit. Lita turns to the principal and nods. He then turns back to see Izuku out of his stance and leaning against the wall of the hole, checking his nails. Play the song at the top. Izuku. You sure you wanna do this, Lita? Lita's face turns red in rage. He, brother to Ingenium and youngest of the Lita bloodline, had never been this humiliated before. Izuku liked seeing the speed hero like that, so he decided to play with him a bit more. Izuku. We'll settle our feelings with our fists, but when we come out of here, win or lose, no hard feelings. It stays in the pit. To everyone else, it sounded like a noble comment, but to Lita, it was like a slap to the face. He was disgraced in front of everybody. Lita. You broke my pride. Izuku just shook his head helplessly while crossing his arms and closing his eyes. Izuku. It stays in the pit. Lita. You made my girl jealous. Izuku. Hee, it stays in the pit. Lita. And you referred to a superior as brother. Izuku. Well, we're both animals and both hunted, but we learned to fight back, so we're basically brothers. Lita. You know what? This isn't about me anymore. This is about everyone else out there. You betrayed us, midoriya. Izuku's eyes shot open at Lita's low blow and spoke helplessly. Izuku. I was framed, Lita. And you guys peer pressured me into going. Lita. You can't just say da. Izuku threw his hands in the air to interrupt him. Izuku. There was like 20 guys. They would've, shot me where I stood, alright. Lita. Nonsense. I shall beat you and show you your place. He then shot towards Izuku with blue and white fire coming out of his exhausts. Izuku just stood there and watched what he was doing like it was in slow motion, picking out the weak points in an instant. So, when the leg finally hit his arm, he didn't move. Lita. What? He should have moved at least a little. Izuku. Brew. That was weak. Izuku then grabbed his leg and slammed him into the ground continuously. Like Hulk and Loki, he then threw him into the side of the pit. After Lita crashed into the wall, Izuku just chuckled and cracked his neck. Izuku. It stays in the pit. He then caught a foot from a flying Lita and elbowed his crotch with his other hand, making the boy's face pale quickly. Izuku lets go of the boy's foot while all of the males watching subconsciously flinch at the sight. Lita. Why would you play such a dirty trick? Villain. Izuku just shrugged. Izuku. Meh, we're in the pit. Nothing goes out of the pit. Izuku then charged into Lita, stomping on his hand while punching his face. He then grabs him by the neck and drags him across the walls while running. By the time he finished this, Lita was starting to see black dots in his vision. Izuku just to cheat and knees his face, trying to put him out of his misery. Izuku. Just stay down, man, it's easier for both of us. Lita then shakily gets to his feet, blood dripping down his face and torso. Everyone cheers for the injured teen, all except the ones that have Izuku's trust as they already know the winner. Lita gets back into a fighting stance and shouts. Lita. No, because a true hero never falls down and always gets back up. And I, Tenya Lita, shall never fall do. Izuku. And I'm bored. Izuku then just punched his throat, blocking his airway for enough time to make him fall to the ground, gasping for air. After a while, he gets to his knees with a fearful expression on his face. Izuku. Lita, the thing is, you're using words, but the thing about this world, Lita, is that the only universal language is violence. He kneels down to Lita. And we've had that conversation, we've spoken that language, in the pit. He stands up and puts his crown and robe back on. Izuku. It's over, Lita. He turns and walks away. Izuku. Onto a new day, a new plot to become a hero. Izuku walked up to his stuff and put it all back on. Once his crown was perfectly center and his robe was unbelievably fluffy, he looked back at the crowd, who looked at him expectantly. Izuku. What do you want? Show's over. Beat it. Izuku then, after clearing away the students, walks away from the pit. As he walks, he passes by Nezu, who just jumps on his head and curled up in his crown. Izuku just smiles at this and walks towards Ua. Izuku. I should visit her. It's been a while. On his way there, he comes across All Might, in his buff form, staring at him by the entrance with a frown on his face. Izuku groans and rolls his eyes at this and continues walking towards the entrance, hoping that the idiot didn't do anything stupid. But of course, even with all of his prayers and logic saying not to bother him, the big oaf decided to do it anyway. He stopped Izuku by putting a hand on his shoulder. Young Midoriya. I believe we have some business to talk about. Izuku just cringed at his loudness and shook his head, which still had Nezu on. Izuku. No, I don't believe we do, All Might. Now let go. He goes to walk off again, but just tightens his grip on Izuku's shoulder. Growling, yes we do, Midoriya. Izuku slowly looks at him with a glint in his eye that All Might had only seen in AFO. Izuku. I said back off, All Might, before I can't control myself and you get hurt. Now, let go. Responding to this, All Might just does his iconic laughs and grips harder. Don't get ahead of yourself, young Midoriya. There's no way you can be. He's cut off by Izuku summoning the axe of peace and chopping off All Might's hand that was clutching his shoulder. It took a few seconds for All Might to realize what had just happened, and when he did, he grabbed his now stump of a hand and screamed in agony. He cared not for anything that happened around him, or for his image, he just rolled on the ground while crying and screaming. Izuku. I told him to let go. While he did this, Izuku just stood there and looked at him disdainfully while wiping the blood off his axe. After it was cleaned, he squatted and grabbed All Might's hair, ragging his face to be eye level with Izuku. Izuku then got an idea and he gained a smirk full of nothing but malice. Izuku. Do you want me to stop the bleeding Toshinori? Yes, yes, just stop it. Izuku's grin widened as he summoned 4 things, one of which was a crafting table that he placed right beside him. All Might saw this and was confused and scared. He gritted his teeth and muttered out a question. What is that? What or why you doing? Izuku ignored the questions and asked one of his own. Izuku. Do you know what these are? All Might was confused until Izuku dropped a piece of coal, some gray powder and literal fire. Why yes. Coal, gunpowder and fire. Izuku gained a look of mock surprise. Izuku. Sarcastic. Wow. Well done. Do you want a treat? He then chuckles and goes back to his crafting table and throws the 3 components onto it. The materials shake and then fuse together, creating a black ball with pits of orange, red and gray in it. Izuku then looks back at All Might. Izuku. Now do you know what this is? All Might shakes his head. Izuku. Chuckles. Well, this is what I like to call a fire charge. On contact to any surface, it immediately combusts. He then gets that glint again and All Might pales. Izuku. You know what that means. No. Please reconsider young midoriya. Have mercy. Izuku. Sorry, all out of that. He then grabs All Might's arm and forces the fire charge onto the stub, cauterizing the wound. All Might screamed in pain as Izuku just laughed maniacally. After the fire charge was used up, Izuku removed his hand and he saw what he did, a handless arm. He grinned, happy at his handiwork. He looked at the now passed out All Might and scoffed. Izuku. Number 1 hero, my ass. Can't even handle a little cauterizing. How do I tell this to Nezu? Nezu. Surprising Izuku, then jumped off his head. Nezu. Oh, that won't be necessary Izuku. I saw what he did and I fully support your actions. Don't worry, I'll explain to the Hero Commission. Izuku. Thank you brother, I owe you one. Now, if it's no problem, I'm going somewhere private. Nezu. No problem brother. Will you need an escort? Izuku. No, I don't believe that will be needed brother, although I appreciate the thought. Little did they know, 6 people were watching them from around a corner and were worried about Izuku's mental health. These 6 people were of course Aizawa, Momo, Katsuki, Tokiyami, Hiroshima and Monoma. They exchanged worried glances and silently agreed to follow where he's going. Izuku then bowed to Nezu and walked out of UA grounds. He walked past all of the traffic, all of the civilians with a distant look in his eyes. This immediately confirmed the 6's suspicions and they continued following him. As they followed, one realized where he's going. Katsuki. Hey, guys. I know where the nerd's going. Aizawa. Where? Katsuki's hair covers his eyes. Katsuki. To Auntie Inko's grave. They then gained a look of realization. Although they respected his privacy, they needed to make sure he didn't do anything stupid, so they continued to follow him. As they arrived, they were greeted by a hill with countless graves, side by side. By this time, it was 8 p.m. and it was already dark. They looked for Izuku and saw him walk past all of the graves, looking for his mother's. When he arrives at it, you could see the fury in his eyes. This was also true for the 6 who saw the state of the grave. The grave was a traditional gray, stone one and had the usual inscription on it. Inko Midoriya, 2205-2247. Wife mother friend. But that wasn't the thing that infuriated them. What did was the graffiti and the chunk of the grave that was actually missing. The graffiti consisted of words like, villain, whore, freak, burn in hell, bitch, and mother to an abomination. The 6 were angry but also scared of Izuku. His face may be calm and stoic, but his body was shaking and he radiated an aura of rage and malice. They were about to step in and calm him down but he suddenly fell to his knees and started to sob. Izuku. I'm sorry you had to go through this, it's all my fault. I'm sorry. So sorry. The 6 of them were in shock, They thought that he was going to go on a killing rampage. They were ready to try and stop him, but seeing what he did, they let out a sigh of relief and sat down. Tokiyami. I still can't believe that Izuku, beater of All Might, is crying. Katsuki. Yeah, even through all of his power-ups and crying, he's still the crybaby we know and love. They nod in agreement. Aizawa. There was a saying that my father told me. Momo. What was that, sir? Aizawa. A man does not cry because he is weak, but because he has been strong for too long. Kirishima. Yeah, being betrayed by most of his friends, getting sent to prison, losing his mother Midobro's gone through a lot. Monoma. Not to mention the years of bullying because of his quirklessness. They look at him in surprise. He holds his hands up in defense. Monoma. Hey, I'm not called his friend for nothing. We told each other secrets as well, alright. Aizawa. Alright, stop your bickering and make he doesn't endanger anyone's life. Mon T. Yes sir. Izuku was crying there for a few more minutes before standing up and pulling out a bottle of a gray liquid. He looked at it and sighed. Izuku. Thank God for my experimentation. I'm quite glad I perfected the potion of restoration. He removes the stopper in the bottle and pours the contents onto the grave, instantly restoring it to its peak state. Izuku smiled at the sight and sat down again, back leaning against the grave. Izuku. I'm sorry for not being here for you, Mom. I'm sorry for the years of labor and hard work I put you through. As an apology, I'll sing you that song you wanted to hear. I finally fished it when in Tartarus. It may not be able to make up for what happened, but I hope it will help. Kirishima. Did he just say sing? Katsuki. Yeah, you didn't know the nerd song. Tokiyami. No, we never asked. Kirishima. Damn, that's not very manly. Momo. Is he good? Kasuki. Grins. Oh yeah, he's good. He'll put weird ears to shame. Aizawa. You mean Kyokujiro, Bakugo. Katsuki. Yeah, that extra. Now shush, you're in for a treat. They looked towards Izuku, who was just sitting there and was about to sing. Izuku. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. The five were initially blown away with Izuku's singing voice, as they had never heard him sing before and were in awe of the low pitch he could achieve, while one certain Pomeranian was smugly smirking. Monoma. Holy shit, he's good. Momo. That's an understatement. Katsuki. Damn right. Kirishima. Wiping a manly tear, manly. Tokiyami. Relatable. Aizawa. How did I not know problem child could sing this well? Izuku. In restless dreams I walked alone narrow streets of cobblestone. Neath the halo of a street lamp I turned my collar to the cold and damp when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. Momo. As the light referencing to someone. Kirishima. Yeah, maybe a hero or someone like that. Aizawa. Probably All Might, since he is the symbol of peace and prosperity. Izuku. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people. Maybe more people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share. No one dared disturb the sound of silence. At this point, everyone had their jaws on the floor. He had just gone from insanely low to insanely loud and confident. Kirishima. In awe. Whoa, the echo makes it better. Momo. In awe. Yeah. It couldn't get better than this, could it? Izuku. Fools, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence. Tokiyami. What's the silence he's referencing to? Aizawa. I have a guess, but I hope it's wrong. Momo. Me too. Kirishima. What is it? Aizawa glanced at Momo and she nodded. Aizawa. Quirkless people aren't exactly treated nicely, so I assume that the silence, he says, is the response from everyone when they saw all of the bullying and borderline torture he had to go through. Everyone gasped at this. How could the system be this corrupt? Aizawa. Now listen, he's about to carry on. And the people bowed and prayed. Everyone got chills at the growl from Izuku. All six. Whoa, to the neon god they made. They all looked around for the accompanying voice but only saw Izuku with his hand thrust in the air and tears streaming down his face. And the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming, and the sign said, "The words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls and whispered in the sound of silence." After finishing the song, Izuku sat there in silence, eyes closed and a smile on his face. What he didn't expect to hear was clapping. He turned his head to the source of the noise and saw his 6 friends there. He was shocked but then remembered his singing and started blushing and covered his face with his hands. "Izuku. You heard, didn't you?" "Aizawa. Yes, we did, problem child, and it was a hell of a show." Izuku then peeked over his arms with a hope in his eyes. "Izuku. Really?" His friend's facial expression, at that moment, literally screamed, "What do you mean, really?" "Momo. Of course, Izuku. It was amazing." Izuku stood up and put his hand behind his head. "Izuku. Yeah, I guess it was good." "Katsuki. We heard everything in the song, nerd. Just remember, there's no silence anymore." This made tears prickle the corners of Izuku's eyes as he smiled. "Izuku. The almighty Kachan, now a big ol' softy." "Katsuki. Shut it, nerd." "Izuku. Yeah. He then went and hugged Katsuki, who gladly accepted. "Izuku. What are you 5 still standing there for? This is probably gonna be the last time you can hug me or boom boom boy over here." The group chuckled as they all went for a group hug. It was silent until Katsuki spoke up. "Katsuki. By the way, I recorded the entire thing." "Izuku. You what?" It had been a few days after Izuku's morning and it was now time to go back to lessons. Everyone had been very nervous around Izuku due to his ferociousness in the pit. It didn't bother him though, more time for training in Momo. Speaking of Momo, she became his girlfriend after fighting Lita. She confessed after he returned to the dorms as it was just the 2 of them. She had also made him explain what had happened to his face during the time in prison. After he had explained it, she was in tears from her new boyfriend's misfortune. She then refused to go to her room and slept in his bed that night. After all of that, it was time to go back to lessons, the thing that Izuku was dreading. Not because of Lita or Ochako, but because of the fact that he just didn't trust nearly all of the class and that he hates them for not believing him. By the way, most of them don't know about Inko's death if I didn't already mention. But the day got so much better. He was forced out of his favorite king wear and was forced into the Shiryu uniform. Today was gonna be one of those days, he was sure of it. As he was walking down the hallway to class, he bumped into someone. That someone turned and looked directly into Izuku's dead eyes with a hint of fear covered by false confidence. "Random student. Haha, who are you, daring to touch me, Izuku?" I didn't see you there. Can I go to class now?" As he goes to walk around him, the boy puts his arm out, blocking his path. "Izuku. Please move. RS. Or what? You and your ugly scarred face gonna cry to your mommy." Ha. Izuku froze when he heard this and everyone who was in the hallway stopped to see what he would do. They looked at Izuku, only to see him looking down with his hair covering his face. They were surprised when he spoke in an eerily calm voice. "Izuku. What did you say?" "RS. I said go cry to your mommy." Ha. He was cut off by Izuku summoning his orphan obliterator and impaling the mon's hand into the wall. The boy screamed in pain and anguish as Izuku just stood there with a plain face. "RS. Oj. What the fuck? I'll get you expelled for this. Do you know who my father is?" Izuku just quietly pulls out his sword and curiously looks at the glowing blade of it. With his finger, he traces the edge up until the tip, tapping it and pricking his finger. "Izuku. Wanna know why I know that's a bunch of bullshit?" The kid pales as he shakes his head at Izuku. "Izuku. Because I have made this sword for the sole purpose of obliterating orphans." The kid pales further. "Izuku. And it seems to want your blood so." He points the blade at the student's neck. "Izuku. Apologize or I fulfill its wish." The student then gets on his hands and knees and bows while apologizing profusely. After Izuku said it was enough, he threw a potion of regeneration at the student, who just watched in wonder and fear as the wound closed. He then bowed again while thanking him for his mercifulness. "Izuku. I'm not a cold-blooded killer, most of the time, as long as you treat me right, I shall treat you the same way. That also goes for treating me like shit. Now scram casuals. He then unsummons the sword while walking back down the hallway. Everyone who saw what he did just moved out his way and made a path to Class 2A's door. Izuku. Sigh, let's get this over with. As he opens the door, the people inside go completely silent and stare at him with a mixture of fear, hate or sadness. Izuku just scoffs and flips them off. He then goes and sits down at the chair at the back of the classroom. Izuku. Ah yes, finally. The protagonist's seat. He smiles and closes his eyes, waiting for the teacher, but someone decided to interrupt the moment of bliss. Todoroki. You're in my seat, Midoriya. Izuku just flips him off with his eyes still closed. This pisses Todoroki off. Todoroki. I'll give you one last chance, Midoriya, get off my seat before you get hurt. He then grabbed Izuku's shoulder. 4 people see this and start sweating. Katsuki. Shit, I'll tell Aizawa. Kirishima. Rip bro. Tokiyami. F. Momo. Thank God, he was starting to creep me out. Was it the way he looked at me? Izuku's eyes snap open as he looks at his shoulder. His eyes slowly trail their way up Todoroki's arm until they meet heterochromic ones. Izuku. Are you sure you want to do this? Daddy issues. Todoroki's eye twitched. Todoroki. Why you? Izuku. The last guy who did this to me lost his hand. Todoroki. Scoff, so. It's probably a weakling like Mine. Izuku cut him off by showing him his phone. Todoroki takes it and is shocked from what he sees. On the phone, there was a picture of All Might in his buff form, crying on the floor. But that wasn't what shocked Todoroki. What shocked him was Izuku, who was holding a peace sign and smiling while taking the photo as a selfie. Todoroki slowly looked up to see Izuku staring at him with a smile on his face. He immediately retracts his hands and utters a single word. Todoroki. Freak. Izuku's smile disappears and it is immediately replaced by an emotionless, dead-eyed stare. This initially freaks Todoroki out but is snapped out of it by Izuku asking him 5 words. Izuku. You did it, didn't you? Todoroki, for a few seconds, didn't know what he was talking about until he remembered what he did to a certain grave a few months ago. He then smugly smiles and nods, as if thinking that it will show his superiority. Izuku then lowers his head. The 4 that were listening in on the conversation then notice Izuku's familiar crazed smile slowly creep its way onto his face. Izuku. Ha 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 ha. He then threw his head up and covered his eye with his hand, continuing to laugh, all while having that smile on his face. This had attracted the entire class's attention now. Everyone was looking at what he was going to do now. Izuku. So hey, it was you who he did that. Todoroki. Yeah, what does it matter to you? Izuku. He summons his crossbow. Izuku. You know why I call this crossbow a rocket launcher. Todoroki. Why should I care? Izuku puts his hand into his blazer pocket and pulls out a firework. Lita sees this and starts with his boy hands. Lita. Boy hands, Midoriya. That item is contraband on Uaprope. Izuku gave him the death glare. Izuku. Shut it, peasant, the adults are talking. Lita. Grr, Midoriya. That's not very hero-like, now stop before. Izuku. Animalistic, hero-like. Shut the fuck up before I take that hypocritical stick out of your ass and beat you with it. Lita. Le gasp, would you kiss your mother with that mouth? 4. Oh shit, gotta stop him. Izuku. Todoroki. Smirk, yeah, Midoriya. You kiss your mother with that mouth. Haha. Lita looked at him in confusion because he didn't know why he was laughing, as it was a serious question, but was caught off guard by Izuku shouting. Izuku. That's it, killing you both. He pulled out another crossbow and aimed one at Todoroki's head and the other one at Lita's, both loaded with fireworks. As he was about to pull the trigger for them both, Aizawa chose this moment to walk into the room, cup in hand. Aizawa. Morning Claw, what's going on here? Ochako was the first one to speak up. Ochako. It's Izuku, sir. All they did was talk to him and he retaliated. Aizawa froze while drinking his coffee. Aizawa. Did they mention his mother by any chance? Ochako. Confused, why yes, but I don't see why that is relevant to this converse. Aizawa raised his hand. Aizawa. I've heard enough. He turned to Lita and Todoroki, who still had crossbows pointing at their foreheads. Todoroki. Hey, now you're gonna get it, midoriya. This will show Momo your impulsivity and my matureness. Lita. Now I can see midoriya get embarrassed and mocked infant of the entire class. Aizawa. Lita, Todoroki, detention for both of you. Izuku. Put the rocket launchers away and sit down. Todoroki and Lita had their mouths agape. Izuku just groaned and sat down, putting his crossbows away in the process. The people near him mutter the following words. Izuku. How fucking dads are ruining my revenge on main character and rip off Sonic. Lita. But sir, midoriya attacked us. Aizawa. Quirk active, rightfully so, as well. Todoroki. Acting confused. What do you mean? Aizawa looked at Izuku, who shook his head. Izuku. I know what game you're trying to play, Todoroki. Aizawa. None of your business, now sit. He activates his quirk, which scares all students except Izuku, the four and Todoroki. Todoroki. Is it because his mother is? He was stopped by Orphan Obliterator being roughly placed against his neck by a pissed Izuku. Izuku. I dare you to finish that sentence, icy hot. Aizawa. Izuku, I told you, stand down. Izuku. Gritted teeth, but sir. Aizawa. I said, stand down. Izuku flinched and retracted his sword. As he sat down, he swore he could see Todoroki smirking. Izuku. Calm down, Mom wanted you to be a hero, not a child-murdering psychopath. Breathe in, breathe out. Aizawa. Sigh anyway, after morning class, you have heroics class with me instead of All Might today. Mina raised her hand. Mina. Why? Did something happen to him? Aizawa. He was injured by an unknown individual. He glanced at Izuku, who was smiling like a madman. Aizawa. Damn problem child. Kaminari. Whoever it is, they must be strong to be able to harm the number one hero. Zero. Yeah, insanely strong, man. The class then join in on the conversation, unknowing of a certain smirking pigman. La time skip to last period because I can. The class are concerting about their favorite heroes or whatever. What do teenagers talk about nowadays? I don't socialize until Aizawa walked in the room. Aizawa. Alright brats, head to Gym Gamma for heroics class, don't be late. He activates his quirk. Aizawa. Or else. Class. Why yes sir. In changing rooms. Kirishima. Hey, nice abs man. Katsuki. Shut it, shitty hair. Kirishima. Hee hee, alright, clam down bro. He looks at Izuku, who still hasn't changed out of his uniform yet. Kirishima. Aren't you gonna change bro? Izuku. Chuckles, I don't want to scare you. Katsuki. Come on nerd, can't be that bad. Izuku. Fine, but you brought this upon yourself. Todoroki. Scoff, if it's a scar, can't be worse than me. He points to his scarred eye. Izuku. Bruu. He takes off his blazer and looks back at Kirishima. Izuku. Last chance. Katsuki. Just fucking take your shirt off nerd. Izuku. Ha, gay. Katsuki. Blushing, fuck off. No, Izuku. Hee hee. He takes his shirt off and everyone is horrified. Kaminari. Holy shit, Zero. I know, right. Ojiro. What kind of hellish training did you go through? Kirishima. Bro, you okay? Izuku. Oh, yeah, my teacher liked sneak attacks from behind and didn't really hold back. Katsuki. But, he's your teacher, shouldn't he at least use smaller weapons? Izuku. He did, this is only from a dagger or a knife. The class were shocked and Todoroki felt slightly humiliated. Izuku. He said that if I need to learn something or do something, fear is the greatest motivator. Tokiyami. You're joking right? Izuku. Nope. Hugh would have used a gun but we weren't allowed to get one. The class paled. Izuku. His exact words were, you better learn today. You better learn right this instant or I don't know what I'm gonna do to you. I don't know what I'm gonna do if you don't comprehend how to arch under a sword while countering my dagger and blocking the wither's shots, right this instant. ISWEAR to God. You better learn those movements. Then he'd continue until training ended and say, that is all. Kirishima. Manly tear, bro, you're so manly for going through that. Izuku. Meh, I got used to it. They then got changed and headed out to the field. Momo. Whoa, nice author. Smirk 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 smirk. Izuku. Shut it author. Author. Hee hee, okay but you're buying the fucking flex tape for that fourth wall you just broke. Izuku. How, fine. Momo. Whoa, nice costume Izuku. Izuku. Thanks. Izuku looks at Momo's costume and instantly gets a nosebleed and a blush. Izuku. Cough and nice costume Momo. Momo. Smirks, what? See something you like. Izuku was about to answer until, out of the corner of his eye, he sees two certain perverts ogling at Momo's body. This makes a vein on Izuku's head pop out. Izuku. Change of plan. Izuku then takes his cape off and drapes it across Momo's shoulders and ties the two tassels together, not showing any suggestive skin at all. Momo. Izu. What are you doing? Izuku. What I forgot to do last year. He then looks at Aizawa. Izuku. Sir, have a 10-minute nap while I change this. Aizawa. Don't have to tell M twice. He then pulls his sleeping bag out of thin air and goes into it, instantly falling asleep. Izuku. Jesus Christ, that's a skill. Okay, we're leaving. Momo. Wah, how are we going to make a new costume in 10 minutes? Izuku. I'm a master fucking crafter, except for those damn blast furnaces, and you can literally create any non-living thing. Momo. Oh, okay. 10 minutes later. Mina. Whoa, nice costume Yaomomo. Momo. Gee thanks, Izuku made it. Izuku. I can't have people other than me having the pleasure of looking at my girlfriend's body like that, can I? He then smacks her ass. Momo. Eep. Izuku. Shush, you'll wake up Mr. Aizawa. Momo just pouts while blushing profusely. Aizawa. Too late for that Izuku. Save it for the bedroom next time, EY. Izuku puts a hand behind his head. Izuku. Yeah, I'll try. Aizawa. Sigh, I don't get paid enough to look after horny teenagers. Aizawa. Alright, today, we're gonna do 1v1 battles. Don't hold back or we won't get a good evaluation for rankings. Katsuki. Scoff, do we even need rankings? I'll definitely be. Izuku put a hand on his shoulder and gripped hard. Izuku. Choose your next words carefully Kachan. Katsuki. I'll be number 2. Right under Izuku. Izuku. Not what I meant, but I'll accept it. Aizawa. Facepalm. Aside from that, here are the matchups. Yuga Aoyama vs Mina Ashido. Kyoka Jiro vs Hontasiro. Tenya Lita vs Suyu Asui. Minoru Mineta vs Momo Yaoyorozu. Toru Hagakure vs Mashirao Ojiro. Mezzo Shoji vs Fumikage Tokiyami. Rikido Sato vs Shoto Todoroki. Katsuki Bakugo vs Denki Kaminari. Ochako Uraraka vs Eijiro Kirishima. Koji Kota vs Izuku Midoriya. First battle. Basically just the sports festival battle between them again. Mina win. Second battle. Jiro tried getting Siro with her quirk but he just wrapped them in tape and swung her out of bounds. Siro win. Third battle. Lita drop kicked the frog. Lita win. Fourth battle. Momo constantly hit him with a sledgehammer. Momo win. Fifth battle. Ojiro just hit her with his tail. Ojiro win. Sixth battle. Author can't be bothered to do battles. Tokiyami win. Seventh battle. Ya Todoroki just glacy red Sato. Todoroki win. Eighth battle. Katsuki got that snarl, smirk and Kaminari just gave up. Katsuki win. Ninth battle. Kuriburo couldn't win. Ochako grabbed him when he went for a punch and she threw him out of bounds. Even my power of omnipotence couldn't contend her bitchiness. 10th battle. Izuku and Kota stood across from each other, staring each other down until Kota looked away. Izuku took this chance and went for a chop to the neck, swift and simple. As he was about to hit Kota, the shy boy whispered something. Kota. Stop. As soon as he said that, Izuku froze, like he was under Shinso's brainwashing. Inside Izuku's head, Izuku. What, huh? He looks around and sees a snowy forest. Izuku. Where the fuck am I? He looks some more and finds a well-built house. Izuku. Maybe someone can help me there. He walks up to the house, up the stairs and knocks on the door. As he waits he remembers something Technoblade once told him. La flashback. Izuku. What's it like where you live? Techno. Where I live. Like my house. Izuku. Yeah. Techno. Well, it's very calming. The snow and the forest calm me when I'm down and my house as well, but to say that I did it with my own hands. There was a large open space of just snow where I test out my slaves, I mean train my horses, and not far away, there was another one of my acquaintances. You remember that Thomas kid I told you about? Izuku. Yeah, the annoying British teenager that liked screaming. Techno. Yeah, it was where he was exiled. Izuku. How did you know where everyone lived? Techno. Shrug, I just recognized the trees. End of flashback. Izuku. No, it can't be. The door opens. Izuku. Techno. Techno. Kid. Techno. Kid. Izuku was shocked. Where was he? He can't have teleported. That's not Koda's quirk. Techno. How the hell are you here? Izuku. I don't even know where here is. Techno. Well, technically, it's your mindscape, but I made it into my house. Izuku. Ah. He then notices a pair of shoes and some white powder by the door. Izuku questioningly stares, looks at it and looks back at Techno with a raised eyebrow. Izuku. Techno. What's this? Techno. Well, Hey. Techno. You gonna have any more happy flower, man? Izuku. Techno. Who's that? Techno. Oh, he's. Question mark. Then walks round the corner and reveals himself. What was seen was a man of around 5 feet 8 with medium length, brown hair. He was wearing green cargo shorts, green jacket, brown fingerless gloves and a blue beanie. But the most notable thing that was on his face was a Mexican-themed mask with a small smiley face on it. Man. He then ran up to Izuku and started sniffing him. I'm gonna speedrun smell you, man. Izuku was freaked by this and looked at Techno, who was struggling not to laugh, for help. Izuku. Techno. Help please. Techno. Okay. Quackity. Stop it now, you've traumatized the kid enough. The now known Quackity immediately stopped sniffing him and disappeared with an audible pop. Izuku. Shocked, where did he go? Techno. Oh, he does that when he wants to change his skin. Izuku. Oh, okay then. Izuku. Wait, skin. He was interrupted by Quackity joining again, but wearing a black jumper with a white stripe down the chest, a blue jacket with 2 white stripes down both of his arms, tracksuit bottoms with the 2 white stripes again, a beanie with the word LAFD on it and a scar on his left eye, going from his eyebrow, over his eye and down to his chin. Quackity. Oh, hi man. Izuku was shocked by this mon's change in behavior and acted accordingly. Izuku. Okay. How did that happen? How did you get here? How did you build this entire landscape? And how did I not notice this? Techno. Well, I can explain. Quackity. I sorta just appeared out of nowhere and Techno brought me here. Izuku. I remember your name from somewhere, where is it? Quackity. Oh, was it when Techno here told you about his life story and how I threatened his horse? Izuku stifled a laugh. Izuku. You threatened, Brick. Quackity. Wah no, I threatened, Carl, his prized horse. He crosses his arms with a puffed out chest and a closed-eyed grin on his face. Techno. You know, it's not a good achievement to threaten someone's prized possession. Quackity. Yeah, but it worked, didn't it? Techno. Touché. Izuku. Okay, do you have any powers like Techno or me? Quackity grins. Quackity. Oh ho ho ho, yes I do. He looked down as his clothes then glowed white and changed into a suit and tie. He then clicked his fingers and 3 casino tokens appeared in his hand. His once joyful face now became a smug, arrogant one. He looked back up to Izuku and asked one question in a deep, intimidating voice. Quackity. You ever been to Las Nevadas, kid? Izuku just stared in shock. Does this man have MPD or something? Why does his personality change every 3 seconds? Izuku. No. Quackity. Well, too bad. My power is all about gambling and luck. Basically, whenever I make a bet, wager or deal, I always win. Izuku. Wow, that's a really strong power. Quackity. Tisk, you bet it is, kid. His clothes then glowed again and turned back into the old ones. Quackity. Happy, well then, are we gonna continue watching? Techno. Sure. Izuku. Wait, what? Watch what? Quackity. Your life, idiot. Izuku. Hey, Quackity. PWU ha 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 ha. He even does the same thing as you ha 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 ha. Techno slaps him on the back of the head, quietening him. Techno. Shut it. Anyway, we sorta made a TV where we can see what's happening in the outside world. Izuku. Oh, that's cool. What's happening now? Techno. PFF'd, I dunno. Just take a look. Izuku nods and looks at the screen. Outside, Izuku had stopped moving after dashing at Kota and everyone was confused. What was he doing? Kota. I'm surprised that worked. Whisper. Walk out of the ring. Izuku then turns away from him and staggers towards the edge of the ring. He was dangerously close to the edge now. What could he do? As he was about to take the last step, the lights in Gym Gamma cut out. Aizawa. The fuck? Is there a power outage or something? As the students were frantically looking around for the reason of the sudden darkness, they hear a deep, slow, echoed laugh. 009 to 012. Izuku. Ha, 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 ha. Everyone looks up to the arena to see Izuku with a pink glow starting to form off his hands and face. Then look in fear as he raises his hands and laughs louder, the pink glow now gleaming and horns sprouting from his face. Izuku. Ha, 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 ha. As the class were frozen in fear and shock, Izuku stalks his way over to Kota, slowly, eyes glowing a bright pink. Only one had the courage to try and talk to him. Katsuki. Oi, Izuku, what you doing? Izuku stops laughing and slowly turns his head to Katsuki. He then puts his hands on his knees and starts to twerk. Author. God fucking dammii. Take 3. I've lost count. Izuku slowly turns his head to Katsuki and smirks viciously. Izuku. Deep, Izuku isn't here at the moment, you can call me Choiros. Heroes, is how it's pronounced if anyone's wondering. Aizawa got into a fighting stance. Aizawa. What do you mean, isn't here? Choiros snorted and looked at Aizawa in amusement. Choiros. As I said, human, he's not here at the moment. He's currently talking to someone. Now, he turns to Kota, who's shaking like a leaf. Choiros. Leave if you don't want to get hurt. Kota just shakily nods and walks out of the ring. Aizawa. Okay then. Izuku is the winner. Choiros. Okay, Izuku's coming back now, but one last thing from me. The whole class look at him. Choiros. Those who betrayed him, stay away from him for your own benefit, he's holding a lot of anger and resentment towards you. He points towards Todoroki. Choiros. Especially you, you depressed emo-looking firework popsicle-looking bitch. Todoroki. What's he gonna do if I don't? Choiros huffs and basically teleports in front of him. He then grabs Todoroki's throat with a vice grip, letting no air go through. Choiros. He'll kill you. Now leave him alone before he kills you or I do it for him. Do I make myself clear? Choiros's eyes slowly dim and turn back into their usual red. Izuku was back, yay. Izuku. Still holding Todo asterisk, huh. Jesus, that's trippy, never doing that again. He loos up and sees that he's holding a blue Todoroki. He immediately let go, not out of concern about Todoroki, but out of concern about his own hero career. He can't have an innocent death on his record, can he? Can he? He turned back to the class who were staring at him. Izuku. Why is it whenever I do something extraordinary, you all stare at me in shock? Kirishima. Because that was so cool. Siro. Yeah, your fighting was awesome. Izuku. Meh, you'd be surprised what going vegetarian does to your PvP skills. Class. Wah. Izuku. No time to explain. Finish the chapter. Finish the CHAPT. Aizawa. Okay, now that's over and done with. He snaps his fingers and the new matchings show. Mina vs Todoroki. Lita vs Momo. Ojiro vs Tokiyami. Ochako vs Katsuki. Siro vs Izuku. Aizawa. Okay brats, first team go. Mina. Sensei. I would like to drop out of the match. Aizawa. Raised eyebrow, Why? In response to this, Mina gave him the, really, look. Aizawa. Okay, Yeah. Smart choice, Todoroki wins, I guess. Second matchup now. Lita and Momo then walk up to the arena and stare at each other. There is a silence before Lita bows towards her. Lita. Yaoyorozu, I wish you a good match. May the best person W. Momo. Shut it 4 eyes and get on with the match. Most of the class were surprised with this outburst while one is secretly chuckling. Izuku. Hee hee, my personality is rubbing off on her. Lita. Gawking, but Yaoyorozu. I am merely expressing good sportsmanship. Momo. And I don't care. Hurry up with the match already, Sonic reject. Izuku. Snort, ha ha ha. I taught her that. Katsuki. Biwu ha ha ha. She learned from the best Izuku. Lita. BBU. He was cut off by Momo raising her hand, creating a metal staff and throwing it. Hitting Lita and knocking him out of bounds. Aizawa. Okay, that was anticlimactic. Yaoyorozu wins. Lita. But I wasn't ready. I declare a rematch. Izuku. Rolls eyes, that's not how the world works, dipshit. Aizawa. Izuku's right. Not all heroes get second chances or rematches. Now shut up and sit down. Lita. Grumbling, okay sensei. Aizawa. Okay, next match. Ojiro and Tokiyami walk up to the stage and nod to each other, signaling that they are ready to fight. Time skip to after the fight because I'm lazy. Tokiyami goes up to a bruised Ojiro and helps him up. Tokiyami. Mumbling, good match, better luck next time. Ojiro. Thanks man. Aizawa. Good fight. Ojiro. Stop relying on your arms and legs, use more unpredictable moves, incorporate your tail in your martial arts. Ojiro. Bows, yes, sensei. Aizawa. Tokiyami, you're the opposite. You rely on your quirk too much, try using some martial arts or some acrobatics to become more mobile. Tokiyami. Quietly, sure. Aizawa. Okay, next match. Ochako and Katsuki walk up to the arena, Ochako shaking slightly and Katsuki strutting like a boss. Ochako looks into his eyes and gulps, she really doesn't want to fight him. Aizawa. Ready, Katsuki. Yeah, Ochako. Aizawa. Begin. Katsuki immediately rushes Ochako, slapping her arm and igniting his palm, sending her rolling across the floor. When she got up, he aimed a kick to her face, which she narrowly avoids. Because of this, he uses his explosions to propel his arm into her face, backhanding her. She lays there on the floor for a moment before getting up, holding a red mark on her face. Katsuki doesn't stop his advances and attacks her with a barrage of explosions. Some missed but most hit their target and hurt like a bitch. She tries to grab his arm when he goes for a hook, but at the last moment he pulls his arm to the side of his body and kicks her instead. Ochako tries to get up but is stopped by a foot being placed on her chest and a punch to the nose. Ochako. What the hell? I can't hit him. He's too powerful. Just pure battle instinct. She looks up warily and sees Katsuki wearing a grin that could rival Nezu's. Ochako. That's not the smile of a hero. She glances towards Aizawa, who's just sleeping in his sleeping bag. She realizes that she's alone and shakily looks back to Katsuki. Ochako. That's one of a villain. Katsuki then raises his arm and inspects his gauntlet. Katsuki. You know what, bitch. Ochako. What? Katsuki. You already know what my gauntlets do, don't you? Ochako. Why yeah, Katsuki. Well, me and Izuku upgraded them a bit. His feral grin widened more if even possible. Katsuki. We wanted to induce the maximum amount of pain, so instead of one big blast, we made it so lots of little blasts take place. We also made it sleeker for more mobility. He then lowered his arm and pointed it towards the poor gravity girl who was shaking where she sat. He relished in the fear he caused and dramatically raised his other arm to match his already raised one. Katsuki. Rapid mode. Gauntlet. Certainly, sir. As the AI said this, an ammo belt of what looked like green and black cylinders were released from his gauntlets. Katsuki. Ha. Fire. Rapid explosions are then released from his gauntlets, a ruthless cascade of explosions left and right, leaving no space to run or hide. Ochako had to take them head on as there was no room to move. She screamed in pain as Phi met flesh and the scent of burning skin filled the area. The class could only look on in horror. Lita. What the hell is he? Kaminari. He's a monster. Jiro. No, worse than that. Izuku was getting kind of pissed at the comments and Momo realized this. She waved at Katsuki to get his attention, which it did as he turned his attention to her. She then motioned for him to hurry and finish the fight. He nodded and looked towards the smoke screen that he had made and waited for it to dissipate. He got impatient and walked into the smoke and saw a crater and a bloody helmet. Katsuki. Round face doesn't die that easily, gotta look out for her. There's a silence before Ochako jumps out from behind him and grabs his shoulder, making him weightless. She then threw him towards the edge of the arena. Ochako. Breathless, got you. Katsuki merely scoffs and uses his explosions to stop him and land. Katsuki. Far from it, you've just made me stronger, bitch. He then used his explosions to propel him at an untraceable speed and punched her in the gut, sending her into the opposing wall. Her quirk wore off, letting Katsuki fall onto his feet and turn to the class. Katsuki. Just killed a woman, feeling good. The class stare in shock while Izuku bursts out laughing. Izuku. Ha 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 ha. He clenched his sides while laughing and fell on his ass, accidentally bumping into the sleeping form of Aizawa, waking him up. Said man jumps out of his sleeping bag and waved his arms frantically while still half asleep. Aizawa. Half asleep, Emmy. Not now, let me res. The teacher then stopped speaking and rubbed his eyes, realizing that he had been woken up and been embarrassed in front of his class. He looked at the perpetrator, only to see a cry-laughing Izuku rolling on the floor while clutching his sides. Izuku. PFFW ha 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 ha. That makes it better. He looked into Aizawa's eyes, only to be greeted with the sight of a pissed Aizawa with his quirk activated. Aizawa uses his capture gear and wrapped Izuku in it and dragged him until they were face to face. Aizawa. Eerily calm, was that funny midoriya? Izuku's laughing froze and he gulped. Aizawa didn't use his first name, he had fucked up, oh he had fucked up real bad. Izuku. Shaking, and no. Of course not. PFFW, why would that be funny? Aizawa. Well, apparently for you, it was hilarious. So how about some entertainment for me? Izuku. Oh okay. Aizawa does his signature grin. Aizawa. On your match, you cannot use any tool or potion or any piece of armor. How about that? Izuku looks at his opponent, Shiro, who seemed to be beaming with the opportunity of beating the strongest person in the class, heck, maybe even school. Izuku. Aizawa used his quirk. Izuku. Why yes, of course sir. He then sped off and waited for Shiro on the arena. Said tape user happily walked up to the arena with a spring in his step. As soon as he sees what Izuku's doing, he stopped in his tracks. Shiro. Izuku. What AR? Izuku raised his arm, signaling Shiro to stop speaking. He then carefully took off his crown and stored it in his inventory and withdrew a half-black and half-brown masquerade mask. He then removed his notorious robe and put on what seemed to be a black military jacket. After tying his hair up, he looked like a completely different person. Izuku. You may refer to me as Sir Bilame III. Shiro. Izuku. Wah. Izuku. Sir Bilame III. Shiro. Scared, oh okay, Sir Bilame III. Izuku. Good. He then cleared his throat and pulled a notepad and pen out of nowhere. Izuku. Now, I specifically said, ahem asterisk no poor people, okay. So, can you please tell me what is your estate is? What are your assets? Shiro. What? Why are you speaking like that? And I'm not poor, man. My family have a pretty big house and we're well off. Izuku dropped his notepad and pen and had a giddy expression on his face. Izuku. Ooh, a rich person. Right this way sir. He then materialized 2 chairs out of nowhere and gestured for him to sit down. Shiro obliged, although cautiously, and Izuku spoke once again. Izuku. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware there was going to be a billionaire here today. Shiro. What the fuck? Izuku. Alright then Mr. Shiro. Let's pick stocks to short. Posh laugh. He then stands up and begins to walk before abruptly stopping. Izuku. 1 minute, sir, can you spell economy? The class, meanwhile, are just standing in confusion. Lita. Isn't this supposed to be fighting? Aizawa. Yes, but I wanted entertainment and this fits the bill. He then zipped up his sleeping bag again and watched while sipping his juice box. Mina. Anyway, he can spell economy, can't he? Kaminari. Of course. Even I can spell it. Juro. Yeah, he'd have to be some sort of ultimate idiot to spell it wrong. Back to the battle. Zero seemed confused for a second before gaining a confident expression. Zero. Of course. He cleared his throat. Zero. The class are disappointed and shocked, to say the least. Mina. Did he just say, Sato? This guy doesn't even know how to spell. Su. It's not even a hard word to spell. Meanwhile, we see Monoma trying to keep his laughter in. His class notice this and start to question it. Kendo. You okay, Nito? Monoma. Internal struggling. Back to the class. Zero. Izuku's smile falters slightly. Izuku. Very good, sir. Zero just scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Zero. Holy shit, I did not know how to spell that. Izuku. Anyway, would you like a beverage? Zero. Yes, I would love that. Izuku. Yay. 1 minute now, then. He ruffles around in his trouser pockets before pulling out a potion that seemed off. The potion was a lime green one and seemed to be glowing and bubbling. As he took the stopper off of it, smoke seeped out of it. Izuku. Here we are, drink this. Zero inspects the drink handed to him. Zero. Now why would I do such a thing? In the distance, you could hear a faint, it's French. Coming from the class 2B room. Izuku. It's high in vitamin B. Zero. What does the B in vitamin B stand for? Mina. Yaomomo. Momo. In general, dietary supplements containing all 8 are referred to as a vitamin B complex. Individual B vitamin supplements are referred to by the specific number or name of each vitamin, such as B1 for thiamine, B2 for riboflavin, and B3 for nia. Izuku. Broke. The class then erupted in laughter. Even Aizawa had a little smirk. Katsuki. Katsuki in it intensifies, PAAAAH. Zero. Embarrassed. And now if I drink this, what exactly is gonna happen to me? Izuku. Well, ideally, you will die. Zero. Wah. He didn't get time to finish before Izuku kicked him in the side and sent him flying out of the ring. Izuku. How was that for entertainment, Dadza? Aizawa raised an eyebrow. Aizawa. Dadza. Izuku. Yes, it's shorter than Dadzawa, isn't it? Aizawa. Groan. Fine, I don't care. It was good, just go on to the next round. Izuku. You haven't made the matchups yet. Aizawa. Sigh, shit, there's 5, isn't there? Izuku. Yeah, Momo. Not anymore, I don't wanna participate. Izuku looked at her in confusion. Izuku. Why not? It's only a training exercise. It's not like anyone's gonna die. Momo. Deadpan, you almost strangled Todoroki to death. Izuku. Yeah, but he's irrelevant. Todoroki. The foo. Momo. Understandable. Todoroki. The foo. Aizawa. Any way, here are the matchups. Todoroki vs Tokiyami. Katsuki vs Izuku. Izuku. Finally, a challenge. Lita. What's that supposed to mean? Izuku. I don't know if you've noticed, 4 eyes, but for one of the fights I didn't even touch him, and the other was entertainment for a teacher. Lita. I. Izuku. Shut it, the fight's about to start. He then ignored the complaints from Lita and stared at the fight between Kettle Boy and Tokiyami. Todoroki. I'm gonna finish this quick. You may as well give up now. Tokiyami. No, I've got to try. Todoroki. Of course you'd fucking say that. Tokiyami. Language. Todoroki. Genuinely confused, what? Tokiyami. You swore. Todoroki. Yeah, I know that. Are you some sort of anti-swearing person? Tokiyami. No, it's just not a good image for children to see. Todoroki. Wah. Aizawa. Begin. Tokiyami activated Dark Shadow and made him attack Todoroki. The dual-haired boy responded by sending a glacier back at him. This made Izuku sigh. Izuku. Even after knowing his weakness, even after our talk at the sports festival, even after the redemption of your father, you refused to use your fire. Tokiyami moved out of the way as Dark Shadow landed a blow on Todoroki's arm. He winced as he just iced the arm and continued his assault of glaciers. Tokiyami seemed to be slowing down. He wasn't really used to moving around. His quirk was the one that usually attacked and defended him. He usually just stood there and told it what to do. You can't exactly break massive, 10-ton glaciers with a shadow, can you? Todoroki. You're not suited for this type of fighting, give up. Tokiyami didn't respond and just launched even more attacks. Todoroki. Suit yourself. Don't say I didn't warn you. He then raised his right hand as an abundance of mist gathers around it. He grins when he sees Tokiyami leap in for an attack. Todoroki. Heaven-piercing ice wall. Ice erupted from his foot as he motions his arm forward. As the ice gets dangerously close to Tokiyami, he grits his teeth and admits defeat. Tokiyami. I give up. The ice doesn't stop though. The bird boy's expression turned into a worried one. Tokiyami. I give up. The ice still continues to move. Izuku. Oi, candy cane. He said he gave up. Todoroki ignored his comment and continues his ice barrage. Izuku curses and looks at Aizawa, who's just sleeping. Izuku. How the fuck can he sleep at a time like this? Doesn't matter. Tokiyami's strong. He can figure out a way to defeat him. He looks at Momo, who's giving him the puppy eye look. Izuku struggles internally before giving up. Izuku. Fine, but you owe me. He then, much to Todoroki's displeasure, jumps on the arena and grabs the other boy's arm. The disturbance in his concentration causes him to stop his attack. Todoroki. The foo. Izuku then punched him in the face, knocking him out. Some blood leaked out of his nose and onto Izuku's hand. Izuku reacted immediately and shook his hand, trying to get rid of it. Izuku. Ew, poor person blood. Gross. It was at this time that Aizawa decided to wake up. Aizawa. Okay, next round. He then went back to sleep. Izuku. How the hell can he do that? Izuku stared in wonder as he watched Aizawa slip in and out of consciousness so effortlessly, almost as if he had centuries of practice. As he was studying the man, Katsuki came up behind him and slapped the back of his head. Katsuki. Hey nerd, snap out of it, we have a match to do. Then after, I want to talk about something with you. Izuku held his head as his ears rang. He then shook his head and blinked a few times to regain his senses. Izuku. Oh yeah, the match. Right. He then walked up to the arena and stood on the other side that Katsuki was on. They both looked at Aizawa for the clearance to fight, but they only saw him sound asleep. Katsuki. Oi teach, wake the hell up. Aizawa opened his eyes with his quirk activated. Aizawa. Wake me up once more, problem child 2, and we're gonna have a deep, in-thought conversations about your place in the hero course. Katsuki flinched and gulped before nodding his head and turning his attention to Izuku. Katsuki. You ready, nerd? Izuku. More than you, Kachan. They both grinned at each other as Aizawa counted down. Aizawa. 3, 2, 1, go. As soon as the comment was heard, Katsuki blasted his was over to the still Izuku. He tried his infamous right hook, only for the pink-haired boy to dodge and grab it. Katsuki. Fuck. Izuku then threw Katsuki over his shoulder and into the ground, cracking it and making Katsuki spit out some saliva. The Pomeranian stood right back up though and managed to land a punch to Izuku's gut before kneeing him in the face. His efforts were in vain, as Izuku tanked the shot before grabbing the blonde's arm and pulling him forward to headbutt him in his face. Katsuki stumbled backwards and held his now broken nose in pain before dodging a kick flying towards his face. He then reeled back his arm before going to throw a punch towards Izuku's family jewels. Izuku reacted by summoning his Technoshield and knocking Katsuki's arm away with his free arm and forcing Boom Boom Boy to the ground with the shield. He then landed on the shield and started jumping on it, making Katsuki groan in pain and struggle to get out. Izuku. Come on Katsuki, you can do better than this. Katsuki. Piss off, I'm just warming up. He then blasted the shield and Izuku off him with his explosions and stood back up to catch his breath. He then stared at the pig man carefully before snarling and creating some sparks and crackles on his arm. Said pig man just looked over at his opponent calmly before getting in a stance. They both waited for a moment before jumping at each other once more. They began trading blows with each other. Katsuki was using his quirk while Izuku was using his fighting style, pigstep. After a few minutes of a constant standstill, Katsuki smirked and readied his trump card. Katsuki. Izuku, I'm sorry for using your move. Izuku looked confusedly at Katsuki until he saw orange veins spread up the latter's arms. Izuku. Oh. While Katsuki was powering up, he summoned a plain shield and an unbreaking 3 book. He tapped the book on the shield and it was absorbed into the object and caused the defensive weapon to have a slight glow to it. He looked, satisfied, at the shield before turning his attention back to Katsuki, who now had orange sparks coming off him. Izuku. It seems Toshinori didn't listen to a word I said. Katsuki. Izuku. One last big move to end it all. Izuku raised an eyebrow before huffing. Izuku. Your funeral. He then began stretching as his body bulked up and morphed into a pig-man hybrid. Basically a hog that was standing on its hind legs but had human hands for hands and hooves for feet. The beast stood up at its full height of 8 foot flat and stared menacingly at the smaller form of Katsuki, who was slightly shaking. Izuku then summoned his full set of netherite armor and put it on before summoning his axe of peace. Izuku's iris then changed from their usual red to yellow, then they expanded, causing his whole eye to become yellow. Izuku. Deep, last chance to tap out, Katsuki. Katsuki took a deep, albeit shaky, breath before replying. Katsuki. L like hell, pig for brains. Izuku gruffly chucked and then got into a stance. His eyes twitched slightly in pain as chat grew rowdier and rowdier. Chat. Blood, blood. Blood for the blood god, blood for the blood god, blood for the bloodgodbloodgodbloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgobloodfordgoblood. Izuku. Shut it. They both set off immediately, Katsuki at a much faster speed than usual and Izuku at All Might-like speeds. They both began shouting their final moves as they were closing in towards each other. Katsuki. Final. Izuku. Katsuki. SMAAAAASHHHH. Izuku. Blood God's punishment. Izuku dodged the punch from Katsuki before grabbing the arm and hitting it with the blunt side of his axe. Hard. Immediately breaking it and rendering the power within useless, causing it to explode and disperse behind him. Katsuki screamed in pain as Izuku kicked him in the gut, flinging him across the arena into the opposite wall. The class watched as Izuku took a deep breath and walked towards the fallen Katsuki, his eyes slowly changing color from yellow to orange with his grip on his axe tightening. Aizawa. Katsuki is out of bounds, Izuku wins. Izuku ignored Aizawa and carried on walking towards Katsuki, his eyes now turning from orange to red and his knuckles surrounding the handle of his weapon now white. Aizawa. Izuku. You won, leave him be. Izuku struggled for a moment before transforming back into his normal form and breathing a sigh of what seemed like relief and bringing a hand up to his forehead. Izuku. Why yeah, will do. He watched as the medical bots pick up Katsuki and bring him towards the medical ward. Izuku. Damn it, I need to train that form more. I almost lost control. He then shook his head in regret and walked back towards the class, seeing their reactions to the fight. Some were horrified while some were in awe whilst one certain dual-haired boy was seething in anger. Izuku noticed it but swiftly ignored it as he was up against Candy Cane next. Speaking of the devil, as soon as he thought that, Aizawa told the final two to go up on the arena. They both obliged and walked to the opposing sides of the arena, quietly glaring daggers at each other. The class watch in excitement as 2 of the 3 titans of the class face off. Even Aizawa looked slightly interested. Aizawa. Go. As soon as the command was spoken, Todoroki immediately sent a barrage of ice in Izuku's direction. Izuku merely yawned and cut the attack in 2 with his orphan obliterator. Todoroki scoffed before sending barrage after barrage of ice at Izuku, who, again, cut them all in half without moving a single pace. Todoroki then rode his ice towards Izuku and went for a punch, which was blocked, so he went for a kick, which was also blocked. Izuku. Pathetic. Todoroki. Attack you coward. He tried to hit Izuku a few more times, only for them to have the same outcome. Izuku. You're only using half of your power, so I'm only doing half of what a fight is. I'm just defending, not attacking. It's simple. This struck a nerve in Todoroki. Todoroki. I'm never using my left. It's his power. Izuku's eyebrow raised as he let out an exasperated sigh. Izuku. I thought we figured this out in our first sports festival. Izuku then scoffed before withdrawing the axe of peace. Izuku. You won't mind me removing it, then? Todoroki was slightly taken aback by the question, and rightfully so. Before he could respond, Izuku had already cut off his left arm and leg, causing him to become unbalanced and fall over, screaming and writhing in agony. Todoroki. Quadruple A ag GGGHHHHHH. I'll kill you, you bastard. I'll fucking kill you. Izuku looked down at the struggling boy with pity in his calm eyes. Izuku. You need to lose that hatred you hold, or you'll end up just like your father. He looked over at Aizawa, who motioned him to heal him. Izuku sighed before shrugging. Izuku. Got it, it would have been better to leave him be though, as a sort of punishment for going against the blood god. But that's just my opinion. He then summoned a splash potion with some pink liquid inside and threw it at the boy, causing the dismembered arm and leg to grow back, no scars made. Todoroki had already blacked out from the pain though. Izuku then picked up the passed out boy and threw him at the medical bots, who barely caught him. Aizawa looked at him, unimpressed. Aizawa. Was that really necessary? Izuku. Yes, it was. Aizawa sighed and pinched the bridge go his nose in frustration. Aizawa. Quietly, fucking problem child. He then looked back to the class. Aizawa. Izuku won the little tournament, Bakugo came second and Todoroki came third. Any objections to this? No one spoke up, mostly from fear while some just wholeheartedly agreed that they deserved the top 3. Aizawa. Good, now go back to the classroom. We still have the rest of the day ahead of us. Class. Yes sensei. The class then left the field and ran back to the classroom, leaving Izuku deep in thought. Izuku. Chat is becoming louder, that's gonna become a problem in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and make sure to like and please hype this video. Now we will see you in the next video.